Smooth was good, baby.
Gracias.
Gang in this bitch don't get flatline. That's an awful lot of stink. I can see a lot of clouds up in the white diamonds. And if I flood my other wrist, they gon' be back crying. Gang in this bitch don't get flatline. That's an awful lot of stinks and we back violent. I can see a lot of clouds up in the white diamonds. And if I flood my other wrist, they gon' be back crying. Gang in this bitch don't get flatline. We a whack bad timing. You got an awful lot of clouds up in the white diamonds. Niggas mad we out of jail when we back rhyming. I just fucked a nigga bitch and now we back crying. Like a recovered street skater, bitch, I'm back grinding. I got too many hoes, I feel like Frankie Lyman. You done birthed a real nigga, so I'ma thank you, mama. I can't fuck with broke niggas cause I hate the drama. Your old lady give me sir, but it ain't your mama. I can't fuck with broke niggas cause I hate the drama. Your old lady gave me sir, but it ain't your mama. The blood gang in this bitch don't get flatline. That's an awful lot of stinks and we back violent. I can see a lot of clouds up in them white diamonds. And if I flood my other wrist, they gon' be back crying. Gang in this bitch don't get flatline. That's an awful lot of stinks and we back violent. I can see a lot of clouds up in them white diamonds. And if I flood my other wrist, they gon' be back crying.
Nigga catch these bullets, bitch, I'm Matt Ryan. I'm cool today, bitch, don't make me go get back violent, flatlining. Rami got me back icy. You could be a grown man, just know I slap minors. Can't play me up in Inglewood, okay, that's fine. We'll see how long that lasts with this Mac 90. 223's got LeBron and Jordan back fighting. What's with all the pillow talking and the backbiting? I keep me a street sweep cause niggas trash by me. His chain only 10K, he got a whack jumper. I keep me a street sweep cause niggas trash by me. His chain only 10K, he got a whack jumper.
Gang in this bitch don't get flatline. That's an awful lot of stinks and we back violent. I can see a lot of clouds up in the white diamonds. And if I flood my other wrist, they gon' be back crying. Gang in this bitch don't get flatline. That's an awful lot of stinks and we back violent. I can see a lot of clouds up in the white diamonds. And if I flood my other wrist, they gon' be back crying.
DOA cause he was pump faking. Sped off in a Rolls Royce down, look there's no Wraith here. I'm a liability, to switch on me I'm so dangerous. You sneak this and you better hang it up like a co-hanger. Niggas die every day being I'm the soul snatcher. Toe tagger, Perendi donut hoes up in his format. They put his high school picture on the TV, it was so tragic. A Cranbrook student, that was before you when it got so tagged. No longer went party under roof Chris and wrote a song after. Why so many police with him, I don't understand. If I let the K off, he'd probably get up on the stand. I'm from California, I'm a nigga in demand. I'll leave a nigga hanger from a tree, this the clan. I'll let my kids ball, I'm Mr. Tip in the stands. They go Draco the ruler, niggas peeing in they pants. LJ, MJ, 223's up in my hand. Niggas sweet as buttercup, she left a Reese's on the ground. The incident report said he left feces on the ground. I left a mess in aisle 5, bitch, clean it up again. I've been dropping piles my whole life, it ain't nothing. I hit a nigga with a K, I don't scuffle. From what I heard, he got Frito-Laid and left rough. Off some South Central LA, can't no nigga tell me nothing. Pulled up in a Don, but my Rover got sport. It's an autobiography, run up on it, you get torched. Sideshow Bob, I could've went and bought a Mozzie. Suicidal doors, but my life is kamikaze. Free kills, free meals, and again, bitch, free Rozzy. First, go to work, bitch, put it in my pocket. I came in a club with a drum on me. 100 Diddy in a chop, that is 100. Don't be calling on my phone if you don't want nothing. The estimate shield drop look like a phone number. Tape this block off, ain't no ifs or buts. Long live Jamie on Davis, I keep the semi-tuck.
We Japanese still. You getting cooked in front of your family like a Japanese meal. It's y'all shoot the hibachi and none of you niggas can stop me. But can't help but watch me. It's been a long hiatus, man. Long hiatus. We're going to do a quick show tonight. Very quick show, brief show to discuss some socialist and communist regimes and their body counts. And the reason why I want to bring this up, something was brought to my attention. I guess there was another show that, my brothers and my sisters. My sister was over there, so they were attentive to that, and conversation came up. I can't really tell you the detailed conversation. I was not watching the show. I've been busy doing other things, handling other things. In deep study on topics that have nothing to do with what we usually talk about, stuff that's practical and that's going to hopefully get me a lot of fiat, as you Gen Z say. But at the end of the day, we want to discuss this because there's there's what's the word for it? The people don't understand history, right? That's why I always name the videos we do like this Yap Gang Historicity, because we want to clarify history. Um, and of course, the BHI narrative. And I haven't watched this video, this live. I'm guessing it's on Bereans, but the BHI narrative is always only African Americans went through something, and African Americans had it worse than any other group or individual, which by definition would be what people call the oppression Olympics, right? And within the oppression Olympics, like, well, we suffered more than X group, so therefore X group cannot be Israelites. That's usually the end goal. Well, actually, calamity is replete in history, and more than just Africans were harmed or destroyed or killed off or dealt with calamity, dealt with struggles. It's just a part of the human history. I mean, the battle axe culture of Europe. Many of these Yamnaya peoples or related peoples were just going through Europe, slaughtering certain people. And today we're just going to deal with some things that happened more recently. We're talking about, when we were over here having to fight for civil rights, there were people that were not faring that well in communist regimes that were being killed off by the millions. And why isn't it pertinent for us to talk about this? Is because you live in this bubble called Black Hebrew Israelite ideology. And even it's not even exclusive to Black Hebrew Israelites. Afrocentrics do this all the time. They make this bubble where in this bubble, the only people that struggled or ever went through anything or died or were oppressed, repressed, and all of that stuff are West Africans, or what we would call Black Americans, which couldn't be further from the truth. So that's discussed Mao, that's discussed Stalin. Because to be honest, like I was telling my brothers and my sister in Telegram, I don't think these people even know about Mao. I don't think they know about communist China, socialist regime. I don't think they even know about Stalin. I'm just be honest with you. I don't think a lot of these groups are even well versed or educated, or no one's caring to tell these people the atrocities that have happened, and we can teach it in a manner that does not reduce another atrocity. So because that's going to be always be the argument. Oh, you're talking about X group, or we talk about the Jews and what they went through in the Holocaust. They act as if that's minimizing someone else's atrocity. A lot of you Black Hebrew Israelites are sick. You're sick. Atrocity is atrocity, no matter what time frame, no matter what. Atrocity is an atrocity, no matter what skin color the people that are suffering from the atrocity. And you hear Black Hebrew Israelites, discounting the Holocaust. You know damn well if you had a group of white Jewish people discounting the slave trade, saying slave trade didn't happen, and that it was fake, and that it was a farce, and it was all made up, and it was all propaganda to prop up these people known as Black African Americans. You guys will be upset about that, but you do this shit all the time. Every time I turn on my social media, I'm glad these last few weeks I've really have set my social media to a minimum and been very focused on real life goals. I'm actually about to do something big here in a minute, and I've been studying my ass off to establish that. But normally when you go on social media and it has anything to do with some Black Hebrews like cult or some ideologues and the people that push the ideology like Sakari, IUIC, ICPK, so on and so forth, they're constantly ragging on Jews, ragging on their oppression, saying it was fake and they're fake and everything about them is fake. And it's like, if they were to do the same exact thing, if they had groups that all they do is make video after video and make social media platform after social media platform, thread after thread, discounting the slave trade, discounting the Middle Passage. We were discussing the Middle Passage earlier on Telegram as well. Discounting these things, you guys will be in an uproar. You know, you guys will be in an uproar. I made a post earlier, and I'm kind of going a little off topic, but we're gonna circle back. I made a post earlier on Facebook saying that I don't see too much difference between Dylan Roof's ideology and what inspired him to commit those murders in Charleston, South Carolina, and what BHIs teach. When you go listen to the police the interview, I guess they did with him after they captured him, or interrogation, if you will. Um, a lot of the stuff he was saying, he was getting from these extreme skinhead, white supremacist groups on the internet, right? That Southern Poverty Law has deemed them as hate groups, just like they deem IURC as hate groups. And you are a hate group. It's the same stuff. It's the same thing. Most of the stuff he was bringing up was like statistics saying that, oh, black people have sexual misconduct with white women at a high rate. He was bringing all these other things up, saying that, black crime statistics, white people were in danger of black Americans. They was using that to spin it. And it sounds exactly like Black Lives Matter, rhetoric and, Black Hebrew Israelite rhetoric. Oh, the cops are killing us in mass numbers. It sounded exactly the same. It sounded apropos to what the Black Hebrew Israelites, Afrocentrics, extremists teach, right? And that's where we come in. We're here to bring balance. We're here to actually teach you history, take the narratives out of it. Listen, this has nothing to do with whether or not Black Americans are Israelites or not. This has something to do with historicity, right? So let's discuss historicity. Let's learn actual factual history here. And I think it's very important that we learn the effects of socialist and communist regimes, because even when we bring up the Holocaust, you're bringing up a socialist regime. What does the word Nazi mean? Nationalist Socialist Party. That's what it means. It's a contraction. That's where the word Nazi comes from. The German word for nationalist, and then the Z and the end of that four-letter word comes from socialist, Nationalist Socialist Party of Germany, and that's the history. And socialists always become very, very intolerant and very, very violent, and also they give the state so much power that the people have none. So we're going to read about Mao. We might bring up something about Stalin, and just educate the people about that, because a lot of people don't understand that atrocity has been happening in the earth for a long time, and it even happened very recently. Not just the transatlantic slave trade, but the other atrocities, and the one that happened in the '60s killed a lot of people, because you have this crazy socialist communist ideology. With that, let me stop ranting and let me introduce my brother, the savant from the Levant, Avery. What's going on, brother? Talk to me.
Hey, shalom, shalom. It's good to be back. Good to be back on the show. Actually, I was on panel during that time when that was brought up, dealing with atrocities. So the guy on the panel with me asked, or basically he was talking about, and this is in his own words. He said, "Tell me a time or show me when the small hats," again, this is his own words, went through what we went through when it comes to the Deuteronomy curses. And I brought up the Holocaust. I was like, that's a pretty bad event that would kind of fit Deuteronomy if you want to go with that type of ideology. And I was like, no. And so when I brought up the Holocaust, he was like, yeah, but how many died on their way to the transatlantic slave trade? And I was like, not as many as the Holocaust, which, by the way, in the transatlantic slave trade, about 1.8 million to 2 million died in the Middle Passage. Whereas the Holocaust, obviously, it's 6 million. Either way, both are terrible events evil people did evil acts. Both are bad. Is basically what I was trying to espouse to him. That if you want to go Deuteronomy 28, uh, Jews have gone through a lot of the same similar things as Black people: persecution, mass genocide, things of that nature, slavery, etc. And so, yeah, now we're going to look into some more genocide because it's not just Jewish people or Black people who have gone through genocides. It would seem like pretty much every ethnic group on the planet has kind of gone through some form of genocide or ethnic cleansing, whether it be ideologies like communism or whether it be things such as colonialism, like with the Native Americans and such. I actually got a question for you, Yushu. Who killed more people, Hitler, Stalin, or Mao? The answer is going to shock y'all.
Emphatically, Mao.
Yep.
Mao killed more people with his internment camps, with starvation, and just flat out ordering people to die than any of those people. Like if Stalin, he's got Stalin beat. Stalin is up there in the numbers, but he ain't producing Mao's numbers. And Hitler's up there in the numbers, but he ain't producing. Both of them pale in comparison to what Mao was able to do within like less than a decade. I would say less than almost about 5-6 years. He accomplished wiping out so many people, and this is why it's important to talk about that. But go ahead, brother. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, Mao killed at least 40 million to 80 million people, and we're going to provide the sources here in a second. I was looking at 4 different sources that said that, but 40 million to 80 million, and Stalin killed about 20 million people. So Mao has a very high body count. And again, Mao is by the way is a Chinese communist leader, Mao Zedong. But and so yeah, this is a lot of Asian people being killed. So yeah, atrocities happen to all ethnic groups, whether it's in East Asia, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in Africa. Um, Genocide it hits us all.
The Bantu expansion would be seen as a genocide if that happened today, or in recent times, and we were able to read about it. We would look at that as a genocide. A large reduction of people, and then all you guys with the soft hearts are going to be crying out, and you're going to be protesting and doing whatever it is you guys do to show your outrage. Europe went through a genocide.
The Yamnaya expansion.
Expansion, the battle axe culture. They went in and greatly reduced people that are related to Teo and his brother, early European farmers. They
my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, they greatly wiped them out. The people from the Caucasus region came down and reduced and wiped out peoples in the Middle East. This is all over history, man. This is
a Aryan invasion of India.
Yeah, the Aryan invasion of India. The initial expansion into China by those that bear haplogroup O, because China was not inundated with a lot of haplogroup O until much recently, down the line when we start seeing it happening. And then you see an increase of one population and a reduction of another population. It usually tells you something's going on there.
Dare I say, even the Israelites and the conquest of Canaan, when they're wiping out the Canaanites, that kind of is a form of genocide, even though, it happened in the scriptures and the Israelites are the good guys. It might, to some people, it could be a form of genocide.
Right. And you know why it's also pertinent to talk about this? Because a lot of pro-Black groups are pro-socialist and pro-communist. Oh, we should support communism. They say America is a tyrannical government. And, while they own food stamps and assisted living and reduced rent, America is a tyrannical government. You want to know what a tyrannical government is? Study the DPR, North Korea. That's a tyrannical government.
Yeah.
They're forced into corvée labor, meaning they don't get paid for what they do. They get sent to another country, and the government reaps all the benefits for what they do, and they get fed rice. Is that what you want to live? You want to live like them, where you get a bowl of rice a day for your hard labor, and you're not allowed to speak up or speak out against any of the regimes? If you do, if you disrespect their idols, because they have a multitude of idols throughout their country, of their great leaders, their dear leaders that passed away. I'm going to give you an example. Once, what's his name that came before Kim Jong-un? His father, right? Kim Jong-un's father died. Everybody was forced to mourn for him for 13 days and were not allowed to laugh. Mm-hmm. If you laughed, or if you joked, or you were not mourning, you were put into an internment camp. You were put into hard labor camps. You understand? Or you got killed. They believe in public execution. That's a tyrannical government. You guys haven't experienced that. You live in America. You live in the land of the free. You guys live, you got air conditioning, indoor plumbing, right? You got all these things that, you go to some of these countries, they don't have a quarter of what you got, if that. So this is why it's important to bring this to the light, because you got to know what a communist government is. You guys just out here trying to support communists and support socialists, what is one of the most negative regimes and governments that ever exist on the planet. Go ahead, brother.
I'm almost sort of convinced that some people want to live in a system in which they're persecuted. To a certain extent, I think some people actually want that, especially when they talk about it so much that we're living in a, in a society that runs everything. I think they say it so much to the point that they actually want it in a weird way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, because you see these Afrocentric, BHI, Black Hebrew Israelites, whatnot, discussing oppression as if they want to live like that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It's like people that, that's from the ghetto. I'm from the ghetto too, right? So I'm not talking down on anybody, but you glorify that lifestyle so much. Like, you have people saying, you can take me out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of me. That's a bad, that's not a good perspective to have. Mm-hmm. So you're just going to be ratchet your whole life. You ain't going to never change. And that's how people look at oppression. They want to be oppressed. They want to, we all getting killed. No, we're not. You're not. You guys live privileged lives. Majority of you guys live privileged lives. It's people. Do you know there's people running to this country right now? It's people running in droves to be in the position you in.
They'll gladly take it too.
Dying trying to cross the border. It's just idiocy. People that live in North Korea right now, they will risk dying to leave North Korea. You got to listen to some of these documentaries and these stories of the people that escaped North Korea. And, the lady said, it's a sister that escaped North Korea, and she was explaining that she went to China, and, she was okay with being a prostitute because at least she was getting fed. Because in North Korea, she was damn near starving. No, not damn near. She was starving. And, they asked her, were you afraid to get shot when you crossed the border? Like, when you're hungry, you don't think about stuff like that. All you was thinking about at that time is eating, satiating yourself. Nobody knows how that is. Nobody here in America, most people in America can't say they understand that. They understand how that feels.
Except for the people maybe in the homeless folks in Los Angeles. No, I'm joking.
The homeless people doing better than them.
Yeah, some of our homeless folks do be kind of overweight, but
the homeless people doing better than they go to 7-Eleven, beg, get a hot dog, stuff like that. They don't have those. That's a luxury to those people over there. But anyway, so that's why it's important to actually know what these communist governments and socialist governments do. And a lot of you guys are crying and bemoaning America and wishing that America this, America that. Well, you can easily take your ass to somewhere Like, they kill me. I'm going to go to Europe. America's racist. I'm going to go to Europe. You mean you want to go somewhere that's 98% European? They have strict border laws. You think America don't have strict border laws? We're very lenient. We allow anybody to come in. You take your ass to Finland or somewhere. They're going to have, I want to become a citizen. Where you want to become a citizen? They got strict laws, man. They don't just allow any Tom, Dick, and Harry to come in their country and become citizens.
No. And some of those places in Europe are so like culturally ingrained with their ancient, European heritage that they wouldn't even really want you to be there. Like, obviously not all of Europe, but like there are those deep mountainous or deep wooded areas where it's like they only speak their indigenous European language and they don't really care for outsiders.
Right. You don't see too much what we see here in America, integrationalists. We have what you call a so-called melting pot. And that's parts of Europe that is wholly white.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to say, "Oh, I'll just go over here and I get a sanctuary over here." No, those people need to be reformed. A lot of those people have very, very sick thoughts. And I'm not saying everybody, right? But
right.
To give you an idea, Sweden, the Swedish government released a documentary about the early or first inhabitants of Sweden being black, and many of those white people over there turned to skinheads overnight. Man, they were upset at their government. Well, how could you? How dare you? How dare you shoot a film portraying and depicting the first people of Sweden being black, which is their ancestors. That's the funny thing about it. Your ancestors that were black.
And then you got the Nazis in Ukraine. Like a lot of those people who are fighting against the Russians, a lot of the, I guess you say the militia, the Ukrainian militia are literal Nazis.
Yeah. A lot of those guys, you gotta understand something. There was no civil rights movement happening over there. You understand? People are like, "Oh, I'll go to China." There was no civil. They can openly, be prejudiced to you based on your skin color. A great YouTuber to follow is Randy Flagg. He's been living in China since the early 2000s, and he'll tell you when you go on an interview, they'll tell you straight up, "We can't hire you because you're black."
Dang.
You're gonna scare the kids. I'm being frank with y'all right now. It's like that's how it is over there because again, there's no laws. There's nothing there to make those people, quote unquote, behave in a fashion that we're accustomed to in America. That lets you know you guys are privileged. You guys are fucking privileged.
Mm-hmm.
We cursed, brother. You wrong.
He said I'm wrong.
We cursed, brother.
I curse. I can't.
We
curse.
Oppressed in America. Extra K's.
We oppressed in America with our air conditioning and our indoor plumbing, and my cush job where I don't really have to do too much. I don't even sweat it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing?
We still on a plantation, family.
Access to education,
Education they don't use.
Yeah, that's true. Like I always said, the phones got smarter and the niggas got dumber.
Oh my goodness.
But no, you talking about I'm oppressed. You got a smartphone on. You got $300 sneakers on. Damn, I want to be oppressed too. You know what I'm saying? You driving a nice vehicle. Some of you dudes be driving nice vehicles, man. Mercedes, you know what I'm saying, Benz and all this other stuff talking about we oppressed. Damn, that's what oppression look like. What was your last meal? An hour ago. You just ate Burger King, man. But you oppressed. It's just madness, man. You got anything you want to share with us, Shari?
No, y'all love the white man and y'all keep using the white man's science and y'all just go ahead, brother.
Oh dear.
Using the white people stuff, go ahead.
We cool.
And you oppressed too, brother, because you're an agent and you get paid by the government.
Yeah, I'm I guess two things can be true at the same time. That they killed me with that. We cool, we this, that, and third. We using the white man X, Y, and Z. Well, ain't you on the computer too? Don't. Last time I checked, y'all got iPhones. Who created the iPhone? You know what I'm saying? Y'all use Wikipedia. Who created Wikipedia? Y'all on Facebook. Ain't Mark Zuckerberg a white man? Y'all use Facebook. You know, YouTube. Who created YouTube? Stop it.
The ending of his name, though. I mean,
yeah.
You better stop using them small hat people stuff.
Yeah. Why you using, why are you dealing with the ish people? You know?
I better not have caught you in the movie theaters watching no Marvel or nothing.
Right. Yeah, D-Ray, you're right. When you look at the numbers, man, it's like they killed a lot of people, but Miles he leading the pack, man.
Mm-hmm. And most people think about Hitler and Stalin. Mao killed more people than them. 80 million people. And that's insane when you think about it, because today I think Chinese people range in like 1 billion. So it's like, imagine if he didn't kill those 80 million people. There'll be a lot more Chinese.
You know, Ruth said dudes want to move.
What time period was this?
This was the 60s when he, I think the 60s when he did it. I have to check again.
Yeah.
1960s?
Yeah, 1960s.
Very recent.
What?
Yeah.
This is all new to me.
80 million Chinese people were mass murdered. And Stalin only killed like 20 million. Well, not only, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Stalin was going through killing people, man. And you know, I blame Stalin and the USSR for North Korea, because they took over North Korea. North Korea ain't did nothing but get worse, you know. But Ruth says here, dudes want to move to Russia so they can have outdoor plumbing. LOL, winter wonderland. It's brothers. It's a brother
they
right
want to
now.
move to Russia for the women. Come on now.
What's that brother's name? I can't think of his name right now. But it's a brother that went to Russia because he said he didn't like how he was being treated in America. Not by like a government or nothing like that. His own peers, right? He felt like he was being mistreated, so he went over there. So it's just, you know, you hear a lot of these stories and stuff like that. And
but why not Canada? Because wouldn't that be like, at least it's close to home and it's not that different. Like in Russia, yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to learn Russian and learn all the laws. But at least in Canada, it's basically like America, but colder, you know? Like why do people moving all the way to Russia and all in China? Like, why not Canada? I don't get that.
Man, I wouldn't live in Canada either, but I get your point. I don't know. I guess if you want to go extreme, you got to go extreme. You know, why go to Canada? Like move across the globe like they did. You know.
I don't know, bro.
Don't just put your toe in the water.
Yeah, for real.
That's like the only place I could think. Or the UK. The UK might be a little bit better.
I want Sweden. Can I go to Sweden? Can I go to is it Sweden? One of them, somebody over there got a really, really good school system. Like they don't even give their kids homework. Like, I want to go.
I think it might be. Yeah, one of those Nordic.
It's one of them.
Switzerland.
There we go.
For some reason, the Nordic nations do the best in Europe. I don't know why, but they're on top of it.
It's hard to get into them countries. It's very hard.
Look, Moore said you want to go to Canada, man.
I'm not.
Go to Detroit. Detroit, literally right there. You know, go to Detroit.
I mean, if I was leaving,
if somebody ran from Detroit went to Canada, I would understand. You know, Detroit is like a very.
I mean, Canada is not that different from America. They speak English. The laws aren't that different. I mean,
shit. They go off of what do they call providential laws, where the providence pretty much dictate the laws of the whole area. So it's not like here where, you know, we have different, you know, we have government, we have local government, federal. It's nothing like that. It's like each province, whatever laws the ruling powers of that province come up with, and you're subject to.
That's almost sounds like states to a certain extent.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, how many provinces are there in Canada?
No, I gotta look.
There's only a couple. It's like a handful.
Yeah, you talking about big swaths of land being dictated by like a very few elite. It's a lot different. We have a lot of local polities and entities broken up throughout our states.
Okay, I gotta look into that then. I thought they'll be the size of American states, but
But guess what? Even if you went to Canada, it wouldn't matter because you're a United States citizen. You
do
know
they
what I'm
treat you
saying?
different?
No, it's not that. You know, it's consequences behind it. You know, we seen what happened with Brittany Griner. She went over there and legit, you know, according to what we heard, committed a crime. I brought something in she wasn't bringing into, and then you know, United States of America was able to get her out. I didn't hear nobody celebrating the United States of America's part in that. I didn't hear nobody do that. You know, you quick to rag on the damn government that give you support. You know, you're eating the damn food stamps, reduce rent.
Same thing with that
I
Belfort shit.
ragged on that. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
I ragged on it, bro. Look, that's not a fair trade. I don't care how any way you slice it. It's unfortunate. It's highly unfortunate, but I'm a realist. We gotta do we gotta do an even trade here.
Yeah, but it was political, right?
I know.
Right now, everything's racist. So, oh, you racist if you let her stay over there. You know,
Her.
I would have just had to be racist, bro.
America's
Who y'all talking about?
Brittany Griner.
Brittany Griner.
Ain't that a dude?
Ah! You know what? We can't say that because we might get canceled. We can
Bro,
either
nobody
deny if Brittany Griner.
Ain't nobody watching.
I do not support that statement.
Eight people watching.
We can't
You
assume it's gender, okay?
I know.
All I know is she's classified. I mean, damn, I did it again.
Y'all are so messy, bro.
Brittany Griner is classified as an African American, and the United States government got Brittany Griner out of trouble in Russia, right? Which they've been doing it. Like, you know, you get dumb college students going to foreign countries, getting in trouble, and then the government has to try to come in and, you know, use their bargaining chips to get them out.
That's what happened with that boy who went to North Korea, who ended up taking a picture. Just took a simple picture, or maybe he moved a picture frame or something.
He took the picture down. Yep.
Yeah. And he was like, America did get him, but he died on his way. So.
Yeah, he died when he came over here. He was in bad condition. They said, you know, the Koreans gave some kind of BS story that they sedated him, and he had a negative reaction to the sedation. Mm-hmm. And but they kept his body. They said they took care of him in the hospital because they didn't want any. Because they're scared of America. They don't know what America can do. You know, or rather, they know what America can do, and they don't want that to happen. But needless to say, he did die, but America did their part by retrieving him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sent a private jet over here. They had to go through a private airway and all that other stuff. But America's so tyrannical, you know.
So bad.
It's still crazy, though. Moving a picture gets you, like, killed. Because I'm pretty sure they beat him.
That was disrespect. That was disrespect to the dear leaders, man. They don't play about that.
Your mama, his mama ain't tell him not to touch S in the stove when he went in the stove.
I know. He went over there thinking that's what happened because you're so goddamn privileged in America. You can do shit like that, you know.
Yeah.
You can cross the president name out, his face out, and cuss him out and say all type of, you know, negative things about him. You do that shit over there, you're going into a prison camp.
You actually used the wrong word, Yeshu, but it's not privileged, it's oppressed.
You know, I ain't never, you know, a lot of us deal with obesity, man. I'm a little heavy set myself, right? I ain't never seen no oppressed people be 400 pounds. You know what I'm saying? You so goddamn oppressed, but you 400 pounds.
You know, back in the day, in like the medieval era, actually being overweight showed how wealthy you were. A lot of the kings and stuff were fat, you know? So it's kind of interesting how it kind of flipped. Now today, the rich people are slim and fit, and the quote-unquote poor people are overweight. That's just interesting too.
No, they're going to flip it and say, oh, well, you know, people are fat and obese because they're oppressed. How? Like, We got to start looking at these words. What does oppress mean? Like you guys have ready, food is readily available to you. And I remember I said that, and the brother said, "No, that means you can go out and hunt. You can actually go out and hunt. You can go hunt in the United States of America. You go hunt for your food. You're not gonna do it because you're so goddamn privileged and spoiled. You're just gonna take your ass to the local grocery store and buy your damn meat like everybody else." You know,
or at least go to a fast food restaurant.
you go to a fast food restaurant, you know what I'm saying? Get your double cheeseburger, stack of sauce, you know what I'm saying? That's what you're gonna do, right? Talking about some you oppressed. Like the sister that came on a couple weeks ago. I should be able to travel freely. Yes, sister, you can travel freely. But that doesn't mean it doesn't cost to travel. It's two different things. If we're in a free country, I should be able to travel freely. Why it costs to get on the train? Come on. I don't know if y'all saw that.
The trains should be free, Yeshua. The trains should be free.
I was like, okay, so what about the people that have to, build the train, maintain the train, and conduct the train? What are they going to eat? Like, how are they going to survive? If nobody's paying,
Forget them. The train should be free. That's it. If they build it, it doesn't matter. They don't need to get paid. Actually, get rid of money altogether. How about that? People should just build trains out of the goodness of their heart.
All right, I can't eat the goodness of the goodness of my heart. Ain't gonna keep the lights on. You know what I'm saying? Oh man,
it's the light inside you, brother.
It's the light inside me.
I think I know what some of these people want. They really want to live like they're in the ancient days. So what they should do is just find a forest and just forage for themselves.
No, because they're not going to do that right. Because Nature Boy did that. Nature Boy formed a cult in Central America. He got a lot of African Americans to follow him down there, and said, "We're going to live off nature." Okay, if you're living off nature, why do you have iPads?
Wait, what?
Listen to what I'm saying. Why do you have an iPad, an iPhone? I thought you was living in nature, man. I didn't see a goddamn iPad grow off a fucking palm tree. How the hell you get that iPad? And then they'll shoot a video inside a house. Why are you in a house? I thought you went down there to live.
Really just bought some land in South America and basically built America over there, huh?
Right.
No, they're not about to go live in no doggone forest. You know how many skills you need to learn to do that?
Yeah, niggas ain't gonna put that much effort into any damn thing.
Bro, they don't even look up what oppressed means in the Hebrew. They ain't finna do that.
And then they got down there and went to jail because we don't consent to identifying ourselves. Well, we can't identify y'all. I'm gonna throw your ass in the jail.
We don't consent.
We don't know who the hell y'all are.
What do they mean by that? Are they talking about like that non-binary or what?
No, sovereign citizen bullshit where they think that they can go tell governments how they should police them and they not under their jurisdiction and all that BS. It never works. These dudes usually get thrown in jail, embarrassed, and you get people hurt.
Yeah.
That which is oppression. They doing the oppressing. Telling people they can't contact their family, cut their family off. Mm-hmm. Go out here and live like I tell you to live. You're not allowed to, contact yourself to the free world. Shit, I might as well be in prison. That's oppression. Oh, but America's so bad, As you watch the Real Housewives of Atlanta on your 55-inch TV in your air-conditioned home, You guys be killing me. But let's get into this mild communist regime. What you guys came in today. I did see a question earlier about who was in China before haplogroup O. Most likely haplogroup C, and later on haplogroup D, because C is the first group that travels through Europe, and then they back migrate down into Asia, and then down into Sunderland, which is China today, and then down deep into the archipelagos and the islands, stuff of that nature. They make their way to Australia. Long before old is not that old in comparison. Anyway, let's get into Mao. It ain't gonna take us too long. We're not gonna be up here all night. All right, so
Mao Zedong.
This is heritage.org. The legacy of Mao Zedong. It says legacy of Mao Zedong is a mass murderer. This was published 2010 by Lee Edwards, who is a PhD. It says here, I believe this is a depiction of him here. It says here, can you name the greatest mass murderer of the 20th century? No, it wasn't Hitler or Stalin, which is sad because Hitler is known for killing 6 million Jews, and Stalin is known for killing what about 20 million?
20 about 20 million. I'm just gonna say 20 million.
Yeah. It said it was Mao Zedong. According to the authoritative Black Book of Communism, an estimated 65 million Chinese died as a result of Mao's repeated merciless attempts to create new socialist China. So, before we finish reading this, you get a lot of pundits on the internet telling you that we should go into socialism. And we had a drunk brother get on here talking about and promulgating and promoting socialism. Oh, it says socialism is good for us. Everybody eats beef and all this other stuff. But you never talk about the dark side of socialism. This is the dark side of socialism. This is really the direct product or byproduct of socialism and communist regimes. You usually see a lot of people lose their life, because you get a government coming in saying you have no right to property, right? You don't have these freedoms. And then what does the people naturally do? They naturally rebel to that. No, wait a minute. I've been owning this property. My father gave it to me. We own this property. What do you mean? And then the force, the force, I'm thinking about them, Star Wars and Mandalorian, shout out to the Mandalorian, new season in March, y'all. But anyway, as I was saying, then the government strong arms the land from the people, and a lot of people end up hurt or dead, or, families destroyed and whatnot.
It's pretty clear that socialism just simply can't work with millions upon millions of people. Like, it doesn't work when there's that many people. The only way I think it probably could work is with smaller numbers, like maybe a few hundred people in a little community or something.
A church could do it.
Yeah, something like that.
Where you want to say we share all things in common. Okay, at church, all right. But in the government, that's what I asked her, but that came on. I was like, okay, you're saying that we should all share things in common and be socialists and all that stuff. And one person shouldn't make more than another person, blase. But who's going to enforce that? That's the golden question. That's the number one. Who's going to enforce that? Who's going to tell people they can't own land? Who's going to say, hey, that all you guys should have everything equally, right? Who's going to do that? It's normally the government. And when the government gets involved and they tell you, hey, here's the thing about collective ideology. They don't care about the individual. That's why they can kill millions of people, because it's not about the individual. Because in their mind, if we kill 85 million people, that's for the good of the collective. That's their argument. That's going to benefit the collective. Oh, 85
You're reducing the amount of mouths to feed.
Exactly.
The amount of clothes,
exactly.
So.
Exactly. That's how they think. Oh, America's so goddamn bad.
The very first people, like if America actually becomes like a socialist nation, the very first people they're going to be killing is you, because you're the bottom of society. They think you will be like a burden on the system. So they'll be killing all the poor people and folks who don't contribute much to society, which would be like blacks and stuff. So it won't work for you.
The socialist regimes think like that, they get rid of all the mentally, the human weeds, they call it, which Margaret Sanger and all those assholes, Woodrow Wilson, those Democrats, they believed in human weeds, and y'all want to pick up the same rhetoric that they were pushing, arguing that we should be eradicated because we're human weeds. We're just in the way. We're defunct or dysfunctional, and we can't do nothing for society. So therefore, we should be killed. This is why they were Not only because we always pay attention to abortion. We put a lot of focus on abortion, but you do know they were, what's the word? They were making women infertile, right? To put it lightly, making men infertile because they believe they shouldn't be reproducing. So, come on, man. Y'all got to think, man. Use your noggin.
That's why it's probably always best to use the Nazis as an example of socialism. Even though a lot of people say Nazis are fascists, they're both. They're fascist socialists, but or
Right.
nationalist socialists, should I say?
The nationalist socialists, Mussolini would be fascist, which fascist just means collective. That's where it comes from, fasci, which means collective. It's all the same stuff, just remixed. There's little differences here and there, but they're really coming from the same root, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about the collective. When people start talking like that, run, because what does that word mean? It has a lot of weight to it. They believe in that collective stuff so bad. If you commit a crime against the government, against the dear leaders of DPR in North Korea, not only are you going to be publicly executed, remember, they think collectively.
Your family and friends.
Your family, your friends, your neighbors, everybody gets publicly executed.
To make an example of. You don't follow these people. Yep.
All right, so let's just read it again. According to the authoritative Black Book of Communism, an estimated 65 million Chinese died as a result of Mao's repeated, merciless attempts to create a new socialist China. Anyone who got his way was done away with by execution, imprisonment, or forced famine. So when people try to push this collectivist idea, socialist idea regime, saying, "Oh, it sounds so good." Thank you, Kedrick. Eugenics. It sounds so good. Socialism, everybody should be able to get on the train for free, and everybody should do this. So everything should be free. At what cost? And then who's going to be mandating these things, enforcing these things? The government. And this is how they do it: execution, imprisonment, and forced famine. Oh, you don't want to comply? We ain't letting you get no corn, no rice, no grain, no nothing. Since you don't want to comply, since you want to rebel, nigga, starve.
Social credit. We will not be putting money in your bank account. That's a thing that's being implemented somewhere. I can't remember. But, yeah.
Right. It says even Woodrow Wilson is known for saying you forcibly make people conform. Right? You force people to conform. Let me look for that. Woodrow Wilson. Force people into conformity. Or beat people into conformity. Oh, I get it right here in a minute. And this is how these regimes, this is what he said right here. Right? And this is a Democrat, man. One of the most racist presidents to live was pushing a socialist regime, man. Share this tab right here. Look, this is what Woodrow Wilson said. Conformity will be the only virtue, and any man who refuses to conform will have to pay the penalty. Right? This is what was going on, man. During this time, you got these groups, these think groups, and they're trying to push their ideology, trying to push communism, socialism. This is how they think. Forcing you, coercion. They believe in coercion, making you conform. That's tyrannical government right there. That's fascism right there. It says here, for Mao, the number one enemy was the intellectual. The so-called great helmsman reveled in his bloodletting, boasting. What's so unusual about Emperor Shi Yang of the China dynasty? He had buried alive 460 scholars only, but we have buried alive 46,000 scholars. Mao was referring to the major accomplishment of the Great Cultural Revolution, which from 1966 to 1976 transformed China into the Great House of Fear. So, back to what we were talking about, these atrocities, like a lot of people don't know this. I guarantee you, if you speak to somebody in the Black Hebrew, let's say a random person, Sakari, they're not going to know that this occurred, because we have what you call the oppression Olympics or something like that. Nobody went through what we went through. Nobody die like we died. Oh no, I can't nobody match what we, which is sick. Very sick when you think about it. Like when you psychologically analyze that, like that's kind of weird for you to frame it like that. You might, you sure you ain't about to shoot nothing up on it? Like, come on, man. The most inhumane example of Mao's contempt for human life came when he ordered the collectivization of China's agriculture under the ironic slogan, "The Great Leap Forward." A deadly combination of lies about grain production, disastrous farming methods, profitable tea plantations, for example, were turned into rice fields, and misdistribution of food produced the worst famine in human history. Deaths from hunger reached more than 50% in some Chinese villages. The total number of dead from 1959 to 1961 was between 30 million and 40 million, the population of California.
Now that's insane right there. So about 30 million to 40 million people didn't die from shot, stabbed, stuff like that. But these are men, women, and children that starved to death. Like that's a slow, painful death, starving to death because there's no food. That's insane.
Yeah, and this is history.
It's not a quick death like getting shot. You're starving.
It says here, rounding up enemies. Only 5 years later, when he sensed the revolutionary fervor in China was waning, Mao proclaimed the Cultural Revolution. Gangs of Red Guards, young men and women between 14 and 21, roamed the cities targeting revisionists and other enemies of the state, especially teachers. They were rounding out teachers. I was like, no, why? Because they don't want people getting educated. It's hard to indoctrinate educated people.
Bro, I hate to make this comparison, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the BHI when we speak about DNA and history. Don't listen to them brothers over there talking about the DNA.
Make no doubt about it. Make no doubt about it. If Black Hebrew Israelite leaders were to rule and have control and autonomy over a country, they would do something like this. I have no doubt in my mind that they would not run a tyrannical regime, a communist, socialist regime. Group think, wrong think. You get killed for thinking the wrong goddamn thing, the wrong opinion. I could see some of these dudes, man. I could see Eldon Nathaniel, Vanilla Hebrew. I could see Tahar and all these guys. I could see ISUPK. I could see them running a damn government like that. And then I could see them being very, very racist and basing everything off skin color, judging people off collectivism and stuff of that nature. I could see those things easily, man. This is why I am anti-Afrocentric, anti-BHI, man. A lot of that stuff evil as hell. Somebody made a post today talking about, brothers, watch out when you buy your shampoo products. I had to throw some shampoo away because it had gelatin in it. And, gelatin is a pork byproduct, right? I'm like, well, damn, that reminds me of the scripture in the New Testament where it says they swallow a camel. They strain at a gnat, but they swallow a camel. Now, you look at this little small, minute issue, right, and make a big deal about it, but the whole time you swallow a goddamn camel, man. A lot of you Black Hebrew Israelites are hate-mongering groups. You're racist. You're anti-education. You're not for productivity of Black Americans. You're not pushing education. You use and abuse women. You have sex with them, get them pregnant, and leave them, in broken homes afterwards. What part of Torah is that? Mm-hmm. So you're swallowing this whole camel. You're being wicked as hell, but you worried about gelatin and your damn shampoo products. This is what I gotta say, man, about Sakari and all these wicked, evil, racist ass people.
They done left me in here with this retarded son of a bitch. He ain't got no name tag on or nothing.
This is retardation at this point, man. We associated with these people too, man.
But that right there is why a lot of the Jews are somewhat weary of BHI, because a lot of their tendencies do be kind of, they're wondering if if their lives could be threatened by them. I actually played a video on Korean TV talking about how black supremacists and white supremacists want to get together to take on the Jewish people.
Jews,
And a
yeah.
lot of the white supremacists were Nazis, neo fascist, nationalist socialists. So we got y'all, like, I don't know what to say. Like, y'all got
Birds of a feather flock together. Birds of a feather. Look, the BHI Afrocentrics, they have the same ideology. They're the same ideologues as the skinheads, the KKK, you name it. They have the same mind frame as them. And they would run a country just like Mao ran China. The same exact way. Oh, you got a different opinion than us? Throw his ass in the prison. Publicly execute him. I have no doubt in my mind if they were given power today, that's how they would run the country. Anyway, it says here, professors were dressed in grotesque clothes and dunce caps, their faces smeared with ink. They then were forced to get down on all fours and bark like dogs. Some were beaten to death, some even eaten, all for the promulgation of Maoism. A reluctant Mao finally called in the Red Army to put down the marauding Red Guards when they began attacking Communist Party members, but not before 1 million Chinese died. All the while, Mao kept expanding the Laogai, a system of 1,000 forced labor camps throughout China. Harry Wu, who spent 19 years in labor camps, had estimated that from the 1950s through the 1980s, 50 million Chinese passed through the Chinese version of the Soviet Gulag. 20 million died as a result of the primitive living conditions and 14-hour work days. So I want to ask, all you aspiring communists and socialists in the chat, is this what you want? Because again, you guys pretend to be oppressed. Oh, the police is killing us. The police is not killing y'all, man. This is y'all see one person get shot on the news, that means everybody getting killed. Whether if it's wrongfully or a rifle kill or justified kill or whatnot. Y'all see somebody, you saw Trayvon Martin get killed, I heard about it, that means all of us are getting killed. No, these people are actually getting killed, put in these prisons, worked to death, literally.
cannibalism,
getting eaten, and all this other crazy stuff. Oh, America, that's tyrannical. Look what I do is. You mean the country that got the most black millionaires out of any other country in the world? You mean that? And people get mad at the NFL. You mean the damn impetus that has been used to springboard people's wealth for years that no other industry in America can compete with? You mean that? You want to get mad at that? And it goes back to what you said, Avery. It's like you guys want to be oppressed. Like you desire it or some shit.
they want to live that Mad Max lifestyle. I want to be free, driving the deserts of the wastelands.
Yo, man, what is wrong with y'all? Y'all need y'all head examined.
I think it's the movies. These people watch way too many movies. They like, shoot, I want to live that.
Speaking of movies, in North Korea, it's illegal to watch movies. You gotta watch North Korean propaganda. You can't watch damn Mad Max. You get caught watching Mad Max, they putting you to death. And everybody
Wait a minute. So I can't watch my Marvel, Star Wars, my Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. I can't.
No.
Dang, what about video games? I can at least play Batman and
no foreign anything.
Wait, what?
No, that's illegal.
No anime, can't watch Naruto.
You can get killed for that, man. No.
Dang, that's rough, bro.
That's why many of the people that are watching that stuff, they doing it in secret, and they're smuggling that stuff in. But it's illegal. They can't get on there and watch Naruto. You might get influenced. They don't want you to watch anything that may, spark a rebellion against their damn negative ass regime. We got more in the building. What's going on, brother?
Hey, shalom, fam. I just wanted to jump on and say, man, I can't kick it with y'all no more, man. Y'all finna get me caught up spinning the block and catching bodies like that, man. Like, the body count from today was kind of grievous, fam. Like, yo, gotta hold a moment of silence for some cats today. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, yeah, I wasn't even privy to that. I only know what was said in Telegram, and we were just discussing.
Hey, bro, just understand when they knock on your door and talk about you're guilty by association. Just understand, bro. We're accomplices, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just understand that we're scholastic accomplices in this piece. Shout out to Sister Shara, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Avery.
Yo, so you got that bad over there?
I may or may not have thrown a couple of shots. You know what I'm saying?
I don't get it, man. I really don't.
He said a couple.
I really don't get this trying to be the most oppressed group on the planet Earth type of shit. I don't get that. You know, I hear a lot of Black Hebrew Israelites, and it sounds like, you know, they trying to say, you know, we got a trophy. And this trophy is saying that we are the most oppressed group ever. You know, it doesn't make no damn sense to me.
And that's why it's called Oppression Olympics. We win gold medal #1.
Man, they tried that one out. So in order to win the Oppression Olympics, you have to be an intersex Black female. See?
Oh my goodness.
See?
You talking about Brittany?
Oh, damn. Damn. Went over my head. Yo, ain't nobody.
Hey, you see, she got the VP on her side, right? Or she got the president center, you know what I'm saying, getting out of jail arrest already. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm just saying she won.
You ever get in a jam to say that you are a homosexual? You're gonna get so many political points. Just get, you ever get in a jam to say that?
No, it's gotta be more homosexual. You gotta be like trans or something.
Oh, damn. It's like
I am
that.
a meat popsicle. What are you talking about?
I'm a meat. I identify as a meat popsicle.
I identify as a billionaire. Pay me, nigga.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe these people are identified as oppressed. Maybe that's what.
Oh, that's what that is. Oh no, you trying to talk about all these middle class Negroes? You know what I'm saying? With government jobs, they identifying as oppressed. I got you. That makes so much sense. All these cats getting $1,000 to $5,000 a month off their, you know what I'm saying, off their Patreon. They gotta be identifying as oppressed.
They oppressed.
You know, the weirdest thing is some of these people even saying that, I'm not going to name names, but Moore and Shar would know who I'm talking about, who's over at Berean. Some of these people are like, and even BHI leaders are like former cops and stuff saying this. That's why sometimes I kind of feel like some folks are COINTELPRO, but yeah,
former cops with a big pension dropping all, like, bruh. Like them former cops is paying certain people's rents with their super chats, bro. Like,
yeah, I'm confused, bro. I don't know.
That reminds me of this guy saying, "Oh, I do military training, and I purposely train the white boys incorrectly." It was an Israelite that said that on Clubhouse.
Oh my goodness.
I incorrectly trained the white people. Wait a minute. So you're gonna incorrectly train the people that you might have to go to war with?
Right.
Oh,
that don't make no damn sense. How stupid can you be?
They left me in here with this retarded son of a bitch. He ain't got no name tag on or nothing.
I don't even get how you incorrectly train somebody, because don't they have more than just like one trainer? So when they see,
know, man. That's what he was.
No, saying. So just when he was under his command, he breathed.
Allegedly, that's what
allegedly,
he said. Yeah. I don't know if the brother telling the truth, but he said the shit. I tried to get on the panel, and they silenced me immediately.
And it's only about to get worse, man. It's only about to get worse, bro, because we're about to start coming for their leaders and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So it's
through us.
Well, I'm not gonna. I can't throw y'all into. Well, oh man, you know what? Since there's only 9 people here,
I'm with it, man. I'm with it,
man. So I'm sorry, but let me just say it like this. I'm gonna make a video talking about the DNA claims that Dante made in his book about the 40-year prophecy, whatnot, and I'll let you decide if they want to respond.
Wait. Oh, I'm lost. What?
Oh boy.
He talks about DNA in that book.
Like DNA.
Oh, fam. And he doubled down on the same claims on Berean's channel in November or whatnot, right? And it's just hilarious. So in the book, I'll just give a couple of snippets of it. So in the book, he claims that first he claims that he states the premise that lineage is derived via the male in Israelite context, or via the Bible and whatnot, right? So it's paternal lineage and whatnot. Then he stipulates that the Ashkenazi Jews cannot be Israelites based upon a study that tracks the maternal DNA, right? And says that based upon the fact they have diverse maternal DNA, or let's just say because they have diverse haplogroups, they cannot be Israel because the majority of them would be converts or whatnot, right?
Uh-huh.
Then he goes on to stipulate that the Lemba claim is important to look at because they're claiming to be Israelites, and not only that they're linked to the Levites, and that they can be proven that the original Levites were black or whatnot, right? I'm sure you can already see the multiple glaring problems with that, right? So on the one hand, well, no, you got it. Go ahead, you got it. I want to see what you caught out there right quick.
It's just a few things that just popped into my head. So all the brothers that's using the El Hike papers or whatever, any of these papers that are saying that the modern Jews are converts, especially when you use mitochondrial DNA, then we're going to have to use Aristotle and dictum. We're going to have to apply across the board. What does that say about African Americans?
Yeah, so again, bro, like when you go through it, the Ashkenazi Jews have 13 haplogroups. We have 13 haplogroups. The Lemba have 13 haplogroups, right? So if the Ashkenazi Jews can't be Jews based upon multiple haplogroups, so they got to be so his argument is that they have to be mostly converts based upon the fact that there are multiple haplogroups or whatnot. I.e., again, if you extract, like you just said, if you extrapolate across the board, that means the majority of African Americans would also. And check this out. Gets even colder because he keeps saying, "Well, no, I'm the receipt." So you got to have his DNA, right? So you can't be E1B1A, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be E1B1B to be his joint, right? Like, so he's saying, like, again, extrapolate across the board, the majority of African Americans cannot be, or would have to be converts because the haplogroup pool is so diverse amongst us.
My brother Dante, if you're watching, anybody in your camp or whatever watching, just want you to understand something. If you say that you are the receipt with your downstream claim of E1B1B, you do understand that 20 to 30% of Ashkenazi Jews have that same claim. And I feel like this after explaining that.
They done left me in here with this retarded son of a bitch. He ain't got no name tag on or
nothing. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, so like I said, I had to say this earlier in Bereans, like, so, and I had to point this out, like, so for these people talking about the Khazarian myth and this, that, and the third and whatnot, like, so we already know that with the Khazarian DNA, like, you know what I'm saying, we see G2A amongst them, right? And so we already know that the Ashkenazi Jews carry G 7-10+%, depending on what population. You know what I'm saying, like, so people who, like African Americans who carry G, y'all got to understand that you're related to more Ashkenazi males that carry G than African American males that carry G, even amongst the vastly different size and population and whatnot, right? You're still related to more Ashkenazi males paternally than you are African American males. Same goes to anyone who's E1B1B and African American, right? You're related to more Ashkenazi Jews that are African that more paternally related to more Ashkenazi Jews than you are African Americans. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. Like so less than what is it? A couple percent that have the E1B1B. Something like that. Less than that, right?
Less than.
And and like my man just said, we're talking 20+% in the Ashkenazi community, right? So I'm just saying, like,
them your folks. I'm being honest. Them your folks too. I'm not saying it in a pejorative manner. I'm saying those your relatives, those my relatives too. They your relatives.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is.
Hey, like I always say, the Jews are our cousins. They're distant cousins.
Right. But going further, like, so again, like making the argument that the Ashkenazi can't be Jews, but the Lemba can be, right? This goes back to, this shows you that when he wrote his, hold on real quick. This shows you when he wrote his book that he was just learning the Darbyite DNA concept, right? Because he's talking about the Lemba, and he's assuming that their haplogroup is like the E1B1A is the Cohen haplogroup, right? Like we were seeing with Darby, whatnot, right? That all African American males have the same haplogroup, right? And that the Lemba have E1B1A and they have the Cohen gene, right? He's making the same assumptions in his book because again, the argument is, well, the Ashkenazi Jews can't be them because they're diverse. But wait, he didn't think we were diverse then, because he wouldn't have made the argument, right?
Because all black people
and he wouldn't have made the argument thinking that, knowing that the Limber are being connected to Levi based upon the J haplogroup, right?
No, he wouldn't, because that would validate the very people that they try to invalidate all the damn time.
Facts.
You know, it's weird, bro. It's just very.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second.
Let's do it, sis. Let's go.
Number one, I from my recollection, Dante refers to himself in the receipt in the sense that the UA community are constantly saying no black people. They were constantly saying, past tense, that no black people who came off the slave ships have any connection to being Jews or Israelites or something along those lines. That's what I understand him to mean when he says he's the receipt. He's referring to that for them. And two, he has changed his position a little bit on Ashkenaz. He does say that some of them can be the people now. So give him a little wiggle room. I think with the right information, Dante can change his position because he's done it before.
Yeah, you just got to apply force.
Now you sound like mine.
Yeah.
Shit, you got to apply force, brother. What has you been doing, man? Are you a communist, brother? No, I'm playing.
I'm so dead.
What the hell you say?
No, man. I hope Dante do, snap out of that, man. I don't wish Black Hebrew Israelite ideology on anybody.
You don't wish the ideology on.
I think it's telling that he kind of distances himself from certain people who make certain claims about DNA.
Oh boy,
This is why
more claims to cover.
This is all I gotta say to that brother. All I gotta say, if you watch, when you argue your point, argue the point, not the man. Yeah, we crack jokes here and there, but I saw a video of yours, and every point was about the degradation of or assassination of someone's character, and I did not see anything validating your claim. You're not the only person that does that. Many people, they tend to just make smear campaigns instead of validating what is being argued. So if I'm arguing any damn thing, give me something. If I'm arguing that communism is bad, I'm going to focus on dealing with communism, the systems, the infrastructure, the damage it done. That's what the main course, the meat and potatoes of my video is going to be talking about that. What I see what I saw in that video that I was made privy to was a bunch of personal attacks, a bunch of propaganda, and a smear campaign. That's all I saw. I didn't see any justification for your stance on the topic that was being hotly contested, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
Yeah, I love taking shots. I love taking shots, but we need to tone it down a bit. We do. We definitely do. I can agree with you on that wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
we don't. We don't.
We don't do fucking
2-hour
specials on a nigga whole life or some shit.
Yeah, I know.
Hold on.
I agree with you.
What we won't do, sisters, we won't do the 2-hour special and then not actually deal with the argument.
Nah, we finna clown you and clown that argument at the same time.
Man.
Okay. All right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches.
I agree. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, we agents. Supposed to.
Broke agents.
Secret.
Rubber bouncing check agents.
Secret.
All right, man. So y'all got it, man. I'm gonna get ready to go to bed. Hopefully somebody learned something tonight. You know what I'm saying? I look forward to what you got coming more. I just want to get on here and address this because, I'm going to tell you right now, the family was going in. I was getting 1 million telegram texts at about 9 o'clock at night. So,
yeah. Shout out to the young heads and Yap, man. Y'all held it down today. y'all gave us a really good. I'm mad because so much of what y'all did was past the 10 hour 55-minute mark on that joint. You know what I'm saying? But y'all put in work, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, a lot of that wasn't recorded.
Yeah, I know. Oh, next time. Pseudos always surface.
Yeah, but again, y'all showed what people needed to see. Like people were like, there was people in chat like, man, who is this talking? Who are these people talking? Blah, blah, blah. Like it's refreshing to hear what y'all got to say and whatnot, and like unabashedly saying what y'all got to say, or what we have to say. And so, like, I appreciate swinging them clubs with y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's a pleasure planting the flag and not being racist in this whole thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, it feels good.
They went back to their circle saying the coons will be coon.
Oh man.
Alton bought us coon hats, y'all.
They trying to save white people again. Whitey.
Hey, we a bunch of coons. Y'all afraid to debate, fam. I know that.
White man really doctrine, white man science.
Come on, man. Y'all in the
y'all better get off the white man's internet talking all this stuff, man.
Yeah, he on the white man internet.
You sold out.
Y'all got high speed internet too. You know what I'm saying? AT&T. They got all these.
And if you got Verizon, you rich.
No, they oppressed. They identify as oppressed, but they got damn high speed internet and shit.
Hey, let me tell you about one of the things that was actually said on Berean. This is one of the last topics that more than likely wasn't recorded, so I'm going to say it now. So a person had jumped on the StreamYard and was on the live, and we were talking, and he was using Joel 3 as evidence of the transatlantic slave trade. Now, I'm used to Deuteronomy 28, of course, but he used Joel 3, that the Israelites will be sold to the Grecians.
We used to use that too, IUIC.
Yep. And so I told him, pay attention to that verse. I said, it says Tyre, Zidon, and the coast of Palestine. Is that in West Africa or in the Levant? And there was nothing but crickets. He couldn't.
Oh, he didn't respond? Yeah, nothing to say.
For a minute, it was like for maybe 20
Tyre
seconds.
and Zidon is spiritual West Africa, man. I mean, West Africa is spiritual Tyre and Zidon.
He tried to say that. He was actually, yeah, exactly. He tried to say that, oh, well, those are Hamites. And I said, let's go back. We're talking about location. Where is Tyre, Zidon, and the coast of Palestine? He was like,
oh.
See, if I'm gonna stop kicking at y'all, man, y'all got my door kicked in, getting me in trouble or whatnot. See?
No, I don't even want to hear that. Y'all about to get our door kicked in by the moderates. Don't even.
Hey, I'm trying to.
I see.
More made it clear they're not moderate.
No, they're not. They're really not.
Shout out to the Darby-ites.
Made it clear they're not moderate.
Yeah. And that, man, I was so like that stuck too. Everyone's like, yeah, they Darby-ites, man.
If anything, we're moderate.
Man, okay. Thank you, Ebri. Thank you, bro.
That's all right. I stay with the vest on.
Man.
So somebody explained to me what Blister E did today. Like, what the hell, Blister E?
You mean Blister G?
Blister G, yeah.
So
we love saying her name, bro.
So Brain called her a liar, you know what I'm saying, and deceiver and whatnot, and she kicking with them liars and comforting and whatnot. So she decided to go make a whole live talking about like, oh, they gotta keep my name in their mouth and whatnot, talking about me, Abu, and Berean and whatnot. Me and Abu didn't say nothing about old girl, you know what I'm saying? And so apparently she's like somebody from over there gets sent over to Berean's chat to tell us that we're supposed to go over there to go talk to whatnot. And you know what I'm saying, Abu just politely disappears from the panel. And it shows up over her in her joint, whatnot. She drops the link, he jumps on, and she proceeds to moonwalk so much that she's making like Michael Jackson envious from the grave and whatnot, right? On her position about cats and whatnot. And she ends up throwing Benaya under the bus at the same time, talking about that she wasn't agreeing with him that he had found cats and that the whole thing should be over with and whatnot. That she was just agreeing that he yeah, man. And so, like the surgical man that he is, Alonzo was like, "Well, do you mind if I put this video up on my channel?" And whatnot? And so, like shortly before you went live, Alonzo went live and and put up a video juxtaposing what she had said in the previous conversations in this conversation, and it don't sound quite similar. That's all I'm just gonna say.
No way.
How long that video?
This is so funny.
It's
We
only
need to
The
see
Lawson's
this.
video is only a few minutes long. You know what I'm saying? It's like less than 10.
Let me play it.
I gotta see this. I need to laugh today.
Man, Abu out here catching bodies without my permission, man. Let me see.
Hey, Boo saying we catching bodies without his permission. What you talking?
Everybody's catching bodies.
Literally.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies.
Bodies hit the floor.
Oh, I got.
Told you, family, they white. Family, these guys are referencing heavy metal.
Yap Naya.
I
Abu
think we've all been through that phase of heavy metal.
Can Abu change his damn YouTube name to Abu? Oh yeah, here it is. I see. I can't even find his channel. 20 minutes. All right, yeah, I think I can stay up a little longer.
Yeah, I gotta get up early too. I got class.
Ain't that the same? You got to give class and go take class. See, putting in double work.
Oh no, that was an A whooping that I handed out earlier. That wasn't class.
Man, it was so funny too because they was in the chat. Oh, she sounds so innocent. I'm like, man, she rocking the vest right now. Just understand. With the Glock ready to go. And then you could hear the voice change. I was like, oh, she's in that whoop that ass mode. Let's go.
Bro, I was so heated. I had to calm down. I was so mad.
Well, oh man, Yeshu, I can't wait for you to see Alan's part, bro, because that part wasn't before the 11-hour mark, bro. Maji with the ruddy paint joint.
Oh yeah, the ruddy.
Oh man. Anyway, go.
Well, do you think he's actually serious though about that?
Bro, he was as a heart attack.
Abu a troll, bro.
That's crazy.
No. The dude we're talking about, like, if you actually see what, like, Yeshu, bro.
No. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about what I'm looking at on the stream.
Oh no, bro. He trolls hard, bro. Like, wait till the end. He trolls hard.
This nigga said, "Good afternoon."
Good evening.
You know you're on some bullshit. I'm here because someone in Berea can't tell.
You know, this is why we get along with Abu so well.
Oh man, this nigga good, man.
And we'll come in. Somebody trying to go to jail. You trying to go home?
You want to go to jail? You want to go home? I want to go home, Jake. I want to go home.
You know, it's funny. I'm gonna switch it right quick, but he came through and he was like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where my joint at. He came through like Alonzo was like, hold on.
That's not what you said to me. So I'm lying. Am I lying? No. Huh?
I don't really get it, man. Y'all, like Sister E, man, like, what do you think we do all day? Or what do you think these brothers do all day? I'm pretty sure they're not fucking worried about you. I'm
still waiting. I'm still waiting for that test to come out. By the way, sis, I've been waiting for a hot minute.
What happened to that?
I think it's just unknown fear. It's kind of clear that yeah, it's fear. That's what I think it kind of is. Like, you're afraid that you assume and thinking everybody's talking about you when nobody is.
Yeah, that's
it kind of shows that you actually are thinking about them and sort of afraid of the fact that someone might bring out something else that was said or done.
Well, we did cover Mao, in communist China. That's that groupthink shit. She think everybody should think like her. And when we don't,
to the CCP, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the CCP, bro. She it's an issue. It scares her to see someone else that fits this African American identity. That supposedly all of us are Israelites, right? Every single one of us, don't matter. As long as you're black, it's a fact.
Well, until you disagree with them, then you're an Edomite. So.
Oh my God.
Oh, I know we ain't got the Balkan bully in the building.
There go Edomite right there.
No,
you're really low.
Shout out to Esau.
Can you hear me now?
He's been compromised.
Mm-hmm.
You're a little better.
You need to get off the Edomite thing, bro.
Better. I'm on the Edomite mic right now.
Yeah.
Abu ain't paying you, bro. You're supposed to have a better mic than that.
That's what
I told him to send me a check yesterday.
There you go.
That's what the E and Sister E stand for, Edomite.
That's pretty good.
Hey, why? I don't get it, man. Sister E, ain't nobody worried about your ass.
Yeah, that test coming now since you said that, because she was on a break, but I think you just
Nobody worried. Like nobody wakes up in the morning like, God damn it, that fucking Sister E. I gotta make 10 videos. And we really never made a video after.
Yeah, we really
last
haven't.
joint.
No.
And we really was just focused on your code, but you threw yourself in the damn mix. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? Trying to play everybody mama and shit. I want to protect my baby. You ain't gonna talk about my baby like that. Like, that's the only reason you've been mentioned, because you got in between, you know what I'm saying, us and them. That's the only reason.
That's true though. Yeah.
Nobody would give a fuck about you, to be honest, in this whole equation, if that wasn't the case, you know. And we still, like, I'm only mentioning it because, you know, I guess she went on Bereans or made a live today, you know, going off about that. So I just find it very strange, man. It's weird. Anyway, let's let it play.
Earlier today, I was on Berean TV, and right after I finished there, someone in the live chat informed me that Sister E had gone live on her channel and that she had mentioned me among others. So I went over to Sister E's channel and I left a comment in the live chat, and that's the comment that you see on your screen now. And she invited me on to her show to discuss the cats controversy. Now, I feel that our brief conversation offered some helpful clarifications, so I'm going to play it in its entirety here. Before I do so, however, I wanted to also show something else from Sister E, which I have not previously shown on this channel, and it's what she said back on December 21st, 2020, in the immediate wake of the cats controversy. You see, my initial video on the cat sock puppet dropped on December 20th of 2020, and Pastor Kelly promised to go live the very next day. He wound up canceling that evening show, so Sister E went live instead that evening. I think this clip provides an interesting look at the sort of mix of uncertainty and trust in the good doctor that was swirling around in her at that time. Also, I think it provides a helpful bookend of sorts where we can juxtapose what it was like at the start with how things are now, a little over 2 years later. So this clip will run for a little less than 2.5 minutes. It's actually a compilation of 2 clips. So I'll post the timestamps noting the precise places where these clips can be found. And of course, I'll also share a link in the video description. So let's watch this, and then we'll get to the discussion that Sister E and I had today. And fair use.
The pews. Y'all in these pews, but y'all shall see. The fight is not over yet. That's all I got to say. I'm not saying nothing else. They have sworn me to secrecy.
Wait, how old is it? Oh, 2020. Okay.
Yo, was she crying and laughing at the same time? This is some crazy. Hold on. Was she crying?
What's she sworn to secrecy about?
And why y'all swearing stuff to secrecy? Y'all talking about some we agents and we secret society and all this other shit, Rotocrucian. Why is you swearing in secrecy? What kind of organization y'all part of?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little nice and say that she might have just been sick right there. But the first thought was, are you crying?
Yeah, I thought she was crying and smiling at the same time on some goddamn Joker shit.
Yeah, she definitely like she was crying.
I thought she was Heath Ledger for a minute there.
Hey, sometimes
Jared Leto. Don't do Heath like that. Not Heath Ledger, bro. Jared Leto.
I mean, she looked like Debo just took her chain. You know what I mean?
Hey, her grandmama gave her that chain.
Yo, man.
Did anything happen?
Hard drive. Abu got a 16 terabyte hard drive of all these clips, and he just wait till a nigga act up.
Bruh, do you feel me? Like time stamped out, like, and they think they like somehow they're gonna outsmart my. They're like, bro, what are you doing?
I want to see his Google Notes. I know those Google Notes are on point.
Oh,
did anything happen, by the way, after this? Because I don't keep up with the whole Pews things. But this was in 2020. What did anything secret come out that was new?
I have been.
So Ibri. So what had happened was, so let me just share my screen right quick for a quick second, if I could. So they were talking about Lashram Kadash or whatnot, and Alazar debating Michael Brown and whatnot. Then it turned into a conversation on the pews, of which then I decided to jump on and stir pots and whatnot, because what had recently happened in the past couple of days is that Emmer Stein Center, which is a nonprofit group that's dedicated towards educating people against Islamophobia and whatnot, and like Islamic contributions into the Western societies and whatnot. They released a video to where they actually discussed Abu's hypothesis in terms of Surah 114, Ayat 3 being on one pew in the church in Savannah, Georgia, First African Baptist Church and whatnot, right? And so not only do they do that, they talk about the blending of Christianity and Islam and a lot of things that go along with the arguments that he and I were making in terms of why you can't rule out Arabic on the pews, etc., whatnot. So again, just to be clear, he's not making the argument that there is Arabic on the pews. He thinks there's no language on the pews. However, there was an argument he made for Arabic being on one pew that ended up being attested by multiple scholars or whatnot. And now, independently, a whole another Islamic group is saying the same thing that Abu was saying. And so on this particular pew, you have people like We Woke Now and them talking about they believe that it had some Sola Trail writing on there that is now being contested by multiple groups or whatnot. So hold on real quick, I forgot to share my joint.
But did you also say Lashawan Kadash? Someone wanted to debate on that?
So no, so it started off with a conversation to where they were talking about Michael Brown and Al-Azhar trying to set up a debate, and Michael Brown wanted to debate Al-Azhar on Lashawan Kadash, and he didn't want to do it and whatnot. So Abu jumped on to talk about the Lashawan Kadash language because Abu, that was his entry into the Israelite thing, was Lashawan Kadash. You know what I'm saying? And so he was breaking down like how it's not a language, etc., and or if it is, it's modern, it's not ancient, etc. But
okay.
Well, hold on, real quick. I'm gonna take this down. And I'm gonna put this up for just a quick second, and I'm gonna show people what I'm talking about. Fair use, family.
They also blended Islam and Christianity. For example, they combined the Basmala and Lord's Prayer in documents, and they inscribed Islam into Christian spaces, such as etching Surah An-Nas into a pew at the First African Church of Savannah. This final chapter of the Quran is meant as a protection, in this case symbolically used against their enslavers.
So yeah, that got people a little turned up today. So
they don't like that.
That prompted the cats conversation, which got Sister popping. That got even your boy Pastor Kelly. He went live now trying to address stuff like this. And he wasn't supposed to go live today. He was supposed to go live at like tomorrow, whatnot. And so they're trying to get out in front because they just put out a documentary that they personally made, trying to say that this says Israel time in Sola Trail, in a Latin form of cursive Hebrew, whatnot. Which is hilarious because when you follow their hypothesis, they're not claiming that the slaves came off the slave ship knowing Sola Trail, or that there were Sephardic slaves coming off the slave ship knowing such, right? They're claiming that from their sources, they're claiming that cursive Hebrew, Sola Trail, got on the pews from an Ashkenazi male, right? Not even a Sephardic male, an Ashkenazi male buying a slave, knocking up the slave's wife, and educating that child, the Ashkenazi mulatto child, in Sola Trail, and that getting on the pews that way. Versus the people coming off the slave ship being educated in the lingua franca of West Africa, which is important because even Boubacar Diakité from it was with the PBS documentary, who's Harvard professor, you know what I'm saying? He's a Muslim from Mali, right? Literature says like this might not have been written by Muslims. They may have been Christians themselves, but for them, religion was a continuity, which is it's big to understand because the people so We Woke Now and them and Benign them talking about like this can't be Arabic because they can't be Muslim in the church or whatnot. Well, family might not have been Muslim. That's the whole thing. They it's just like us speaking English, right? Like that's the lingua franca of the country we live in. You know what I'm saying? Like Arabic was the lingua franca of West Africa, just what it was. And you learned Arabic by learning the Quran. That's just what it was. And so this verse here is something that says God of mankind. It's not something that's adverse to anything that's in the Christian Bible or anything like that, right? But on top of that, what's even more important is these people come from a portion of West Africa. When you understand Gullah Geechee history, whatnot, right? The vast majority of the Gullah Geechee people, they come in 2 and 3 waves of of slavery went on. The first couple waves are specifically being targeted from the Senegambia, right? Because like the rice coast of Africa, because these people know how to grow rice. And in this area, you have it's mainly Mandingo, Fulani, Wolof, etc. Man, 100%. But this area, this particular area of Africa, West Africa, they were Christian at one point that converted to Islam in the 12 and 1300s and whatnot. So they had already been blending Islam and Christianity for centuries before even stepping onto a slave ship. So when they're talking about things here like mixing the Bismillah with the Lord's Prayer, that had been happening on the other side of the Atlantic before coming here, right? And so them trying to rule out these people's belief system because they were using Arabic, that's just ridiculous. And again, it doesn't rule out the fact that there could be other languages still on the pews. We're talking about just 1 or 2 pews who went out here with the Arabic on. You know what I'm saying? On top of that, like you can see me was sitting down with Abu and vocab, looking at one pew that has potentially Arabic, potentially a shorthand version of the Tetragrammaton in Hebrew, and also Ge'ez letters on one pew.
I mean, I don't have no issue with it being Arabic, because if it's Arabic, we can still at least say that there is a Semitic language on the pews. So
yeah, and what's even colder, Ibri, and this is, I can't wait to bring this one out. Like, so again, the stance that me and Anonymous took, because Anonymous, when he went down there twice, he was told by the tour, because there's multiple tour guides you can go with, right? There's not just one tour guide and you get different stories of it, right? But there was one brother who was talking about, and again, I got a recorder on my page where he was saying that it was a mixture of Hebrew and Arabic, which was something that even Dante cited in his sources, right? That on the other, like in Nigeria, they were doing such. They were mixing Maghrebi Arabic, they were mixing Hebrew, and they were mixing Patois together, right? Which is exactly what we're talking about here, right? But on top of that, we found evidence of the trade language being the mixture of the Hebrew Arabic, right? In the ways that they wrote the letters and whatnot, right? There's definitely evidence there. But on top of that, there's evidence of Fulani people, shout out to the Fulani, coming over speaking Hebrew and Arabic or whatnot in the same area.
Now that's interesting. I like that.
Yes, that's why certain people, they want to debate your boy. But yeah. And check this out, also being Christians, Ibri, being baptized in Christian churches, but still considering Muhammad to be a prophet, right? Like having Arabic Bibles. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, like that's like people. So again, trying to write people off just because they used Arabic, right? That's like writing us off because we write English or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But on top of that, we have a long history of Judeo-Arabic, etc. Right? And so pretending
they're not ready for that conversation more.
Hey, we started with that.
They don't really want to connect to their history or their culture. They just want to play pretend on the internet.
Speak on it, bro. Like, so this is where we started the conversation, Rue, and this is why it breaks my heart, because this all started the first time I interviewed Abu, we didn't really know each other at all, right? And so Pastor Kelly wanted to come on first and be interviewed. I was like, no, wait till I interview Abu, because I'm gonna ask Abu some questions that's gonna frame this a little, make it more of an even playing ground with it, right? And so I asked Abu, even if there's Arabic on the pews, does that rule out Hebrew being written in the Arabic? And Abu, being as honest as he is, says no, right? So that right there should have checkmated the whole, like, oh, it's got to be either Arabic or Hebrew, right? But no, bro, this is at the very beginning of the team, fam. We're talking like January 2020 or 2021, I think it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's before they start going. It's before the PBS documentary comes out. It's before they go on their tirade about it's got to be Arabic versus Hebrew. Like, before all that, I neutralized the whole thing, and then they tripled down on the thing and run on it. Like, no, Muslims didn't come over in the slave trade. They couldn't be using Arabic. Blah 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 blah. But like, oh, fam, knock it off.
Yeah, because in their mind, Arabic equals Ishmael, and they assume you're thinking that they're Ishmaelites or something.
That's a whole nother issue, because they don't understand what if these people were speaking Judeo-Arabic, which is what I suspect, Muslim, it meant something different than what we would call a Muslim modern day vernacular. It's more like a believer. It's the word for believer.
Or like a covenant one, like someone is part of a covenant or whatnot, right?
Exactly. So it's the perspective is that if they were identifying as some type of Muslim, then they must not be Christian, because and if they're not Christian, then they're not actually Israelites.
Well, so here's the thing, right? Like, so, and this is what's ridiculous about it, is the Muslims in the area weren't getting like vastly persecuted for being Muslim. You can go check out Sapelo Island and whatnot and other places like fam. You go past like you get into like North Carolina and others, like it gets a little different. But when you stay from South Carolina to Georgia and whatnot, they were having no issues being Muslim, fam. Like they can practice Ramadan. They're praying 3 times a day. Like ain't no one tripping on that. Like they didn't need to pretend to be Christian, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like they were proudly being Muslim in that part of the South. Like that's where you get a large majority of the documented Islamic information is from that part of the South. You know what I'm saying? Because it was easier to do it there. So and you can see this in the Gullah tradition, to where you see the Islamic tradition existing side by side to the Christian tradition, to where they're doing different practices in different ways at the same time.
Yeah, people don't understand that West Africa was a safe haven for all different forms of Christianity, if you will, because even at that time, the Muslims would have been highly Christianized Muslims. They wouldn't be, I guess, as what people imagine is a Muslim or Islam today. It's a different time, a different context, and we're so removed from it. We tend not to understand what we're looking at.
Yeah, they were mostly Sufi Islamic, which is like a heavily Israelite influenced form of Islam, right? Which a lot of them were, because again, they're like a lot of these people who like they're Christians and Jews who converted to Islam. A lot of them peacefully at that, right? And so like you see in West Africa, particularly that part of West Africa, in the Senegambia and like Mali and whatnot, something very similar to what you see in more Spain, to where like you're having the scholastic dialogue between all 3 groups. They're all living amongst each other. They're all paying the same. Like, so a lot of people don't recognize, like in West Africa, like we came from a society, like in the pocket of West Africa we come from, that most of us have genetics connecting us to. Like it was a heavily Hebrew society, whatnot, right? So we're like, whether you were Christian, Muslim, or Jew, you were paying a tithe to the state, to an Islamic state, right, to take care of the people and whatnot, right? Like so it's no matter what group you were part of, you were still doing the Abrahamic thing. And it was an interesting way of how they did it. Like, so you can go to Senegal right now today, and see the Christians and the Muslims having their churches and mosques right next to each other, being buried in the same cemeteries, marrying each other. Different from many parts of West Africa.
Right.
Tikulor or Tikar, whatever you call it.
Tikar.
The Tukulor, right? Yeah, you're talking about them. You're talking about like. But then again, I'm talking about the former kingdom of Takrur or whatnot, right? So you're getting to Senegal and Mauritania and all that bits of Mali and whatnot. But it's
Timbuktu and all that.
Yeah. But like Rue's saying, like, fam, y'all aren't ready for the actual connection. This was proven a long time ago, because when I started building with these people, Rue, like I hit him with the whole Judeo-Arabic thing and broke down, like, look, you can prove everything you want to prove from the Islamic sources, like tomorrow. Try to show them, didn't want none of it. It's like, really? So do you really want to prove the thing, or do you just want to control the thing? Which one is it?
I kind of wonder if they even understood it, because in their minds, I really do think in their minds that Islam and Arabic equals Ishmael, and they want to be Israelites, and instead of
but they want to be Moors at the same time, though.
That's why
exactly. That's the issue. Is like they want to be Moors, they want to be Israelites, but they don't want to be associated with Ishmael, which is just strange. It's a strange idea that they wouldn't want to be associated with that. You're still a blessed son of Abraham. What's the problem?
On top of that. Go ahead. My fault. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say this. Y'all got it. I'm gonna fall back. I gotta get up in the morning. But the whole thing that crashes the whole argument is this one simple thing, and I'm gonna leave it alone. The written language, the strip that West Africans, had, was Arabic. So why wouldn't you expect them, if they're literate and they're able to read and write, why wouldn't you expect them to write in that language? It don't make no damn sense to me. And I'm just gonna leave it like that, man.
Facts. And they've yet to, and check this out, fam. They've yet to deal with one particular source. Like, so again, I've already documented over 20 cases of literacy amongst slaves and whatnot, Arabic and whatnot, right? However, there's one source they will not touch at all, right? So there's literally The first time the Gullah language is written down, it's written down by a Mandingo slave in Savannah, Georgia, who uses the Arabic script to write the Gospel of John in the Gullah dialect. One more time. You have a Mandingo slave in Savannah, Georgia, in the same time period, who uses the Arabic script to write down the Gospel of John in the Gullah dialect. They will never touch that. They run from it every time it's brought up or whatnot. But again, it keeps touching the same concept. Like, you can be from that part of West Africa, know Arabic, and not be Muslim.
Right, because it's just a language. Just like we speak English, we're not Anglo-Saxons.
Yeah, it seems like that's a concept beyond them.
No, we are Anglo-Saxons. I remember LOI and Daniela was saying that other Israelites too. They were saying that Anglo means angelic and Saxon means Isaac, the angelic sons of Isaac.
Right, that's true.
The word English comes from Anglo or whatever. So English is actually denoting the sons of Isaac. So according to them, they are.
Hey, real quick, Rue, before I forget, I got that WhatsApp stuff. You got to walk me through that whatnot. But I got to talk to you and Joe, because with what I'm talking about, we literally do have large examples of what scholars are overlooking as Judeo-Arabic. Like, so scholars are looking at this particular form of Arabic that can be tracked over a couple hundred years of slaves using the same type, right? Where they're changing sheens for scenes and a lot of other things like that, but they're writing letters slightly different and whatnot. But they thought it was just like a malformed version of Arabic, or like people forgetting how to write Arabic or something. But nah, fam, like when you see the people writing the same way over a century or two, right? They're doing it on purpose. It's not an accident, you know what I'm saying? And we're literally, and this is why it's so important. People are, oh, y'all are cloud chasers. Like, no, fam. Like, me and Anonymous got into this whole conversation about the pews and whatnot, because like, it's a treasure trove for anybody who's a descendant of the African West African slave trade and whatnot, because like we can see fingerprints of 27 different people going through that church, 27 tribes going through that church, right? However, like, when you're talking about being a descendant of West African Jewry or African Anusim or anything like that, and trying to be taken seriously on the world stage, these are the kind of things that you need to be taken seriously, right? Because we're finding semblances of, again, Judeo-Arabic, which is, we're talking about traditions, languages, customs, all that type of stuff, right? We're potentially finding, again, shorthand versions of the Tetragrammaton, that actually can be found written in North Africa, written in Spain, etc., whatnot, right? In the shorthand version, whatnot. We're finding actual practices amongst the Gullah Geechee that have them practicing a messianic form of Judaism or a very Jewish form of Christianity, like the Ethiopian Christianity, right? And again, stuff that they're not taught by their slave masters, and practices you can find in West Africa to this day, right?
They don't want to hear about the African independent churches in West Africa. They don't want to know about that and connect to it.
But a lot of people don't know about it, fam. That's the thing. So a lot of people just find out just this year. Like, I'm loving it now because people like Dunips and other people on Branch Channel are rocking with the information. Like, no, like there was Christianity in West Africa prior to colonialism, right? Under Islam or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And so it looked different. It walked different. It talked different. And where did it come from? It looked very much like the Ethiopian Christianity, of which you can see the trade routes going across the Trans-Saharan trade routes through where? The Sahel, fam. Through the Sahel, you know what I'm saying? And so you can't, when you have all that, plus you have DNA, plus you have like language, you have the practices and whatnot, fam. We got songs, we got all kind of stuff, fam.
It begins to become a pattern.
Food practices even. Go ahead, Mom. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it begins to become a pattern.
Yeah. We're talking about patterns that we can match from East Africa, like even with the Limba to the Ethiopian Jews, all the way to West Africa, all the way across the slave ships to here, my G, right? That's a big deal, right? But instead, they want to talk about, no, Israel's really black, and you can't be Ashkenazi being Israel. But y'all don't knock it off, bro. Y'all are playing a game of dress up. We were actually trying to prove some real stuff for some people who were serious, trying to build a real nation.
Yeah, what we would have seen there is exactly what I'm working on with the Sanhedrin project. The Bayabadan program is literally trying to remake that atmosphere that we had in West Africa and in early what is it, like the 900s in Spain, where you had groups of Hebrews that had a community that was based off of that Abrahamic faith. And they were all participate together. They all went to the same synagogues, or they had their separate ones, but they were respectful to each other. That type of atmosphere is what we need to be recreating instead of just trying to fight with everybody. I don't get why all these people just want to divide over this, but there's a lot of culture and there's a lot of good things that we could recreate if we actually just came together and worked together. But most people just want to claim Judah. They don't actually want to be a Maccabee.
Yeah, you don't have to demarcate other people as not being Israelites to be an Israelite, because both can be true. And you literally have Jews online saying that a lot of black folks, even African Americans, are descendants of Israelites. That's why, to me, I'm kind of like, what's the issue? Because you can find videos of Jews saying that we're also Israel. So it's like, I don't see why we got to say that they're not Israel for us to be Israel. Well, I know why. It's because of skin tone. But
it's not just that. A lot of people don't realize how much of, the what is it called, the Elders of Zion, or all this different Nazi propaganda that's proliferated into the black community over the last 60 years or so. They just don't recognize that they've been influenced by these things. They think that that's actually truth. That's how you get black supremacists wanting to work with white supremacists.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're both reading the same literature.
Yep. And also, I do think it's good for us to know about West African Christian communities and stuff, because that's always somebody's go-to, that, we were forced upon by Christianity. Yeah. And I guess maybe you can say that about Protestant American Christianity, but we had our own form of Christianity in West Africa. And that just needs to be known so that people can kind of stop with the argument that, this was forced upon us and stuff like that. And also, I remember one time I'm just gonna go ahead and say his name, Jesse Lee Peterson made a very bad argument saying that I'm glad that we went through the slave trade, because that's how we learned about the Bible and Christianity and Jesus Christ. I'm thinking to myself, if only he knew that there was Christians in West Africa.
Yeah,
stop making that argument.
Not just that, so what I'm talking about, AB, is like you literally had like Muslims like killing themselves trying to get copies of an Arabic Bible over here, my G. An Arabic Bible, you feel me?
Wow, that's interesting.
Do you understand what I'm saying, bro? Like, people don't understand. So people talk about, there's no Torah, no. It's like, no, bro. Like, I got videos on all that type of stuff where they're there. They're just in Arabic. What are you talking about? But on top of that, Ibri, this is what people really need to know, right? Is the part of the Senegambia and Sahel that we come from, it's a heavily messianic area, period, right? So we're not talking about just this concept of Christianity, right? But we're talking about messianic, potentially we're talking about one of the first pockets of Messianic Judaism in Africa. You know what I'm saying?
The position of Hakam Joe of Bayabadan is that Messianic Judaism, the truest form of Messianic Judaism, probably survived in West Africa. It made its way to West Africa,
exactly,
survived there, and then came across those ships and landed in the Americas. And that's what you see in the what is it called, the Low Country. Excuse me, the low country Christianity. So it's definitely there. It's something that needs to be recultivated, and people are just leaving it on the table.
Man, Rue, when you see my next synopsis on this last set of books that I bought, I just bought five books on the Gullah culture, right? Let's add to my dictionary, my library, whatnot, from what I already did with the Drums and Shadows, bruh.
Don't make me shake you down.
Stay tuned for Black History Month, fam, because it's about to be cold. Like Rue, when I tell you we got everything, bro. Here's the thing to understand, fam. The Low African Christian tradition is more Jewish than Ethiopian Christianity.
Wow.
Wow.
You heard me. It's more Jewish than Ethiopian Christianity.
Yeah, the list that you got me building of halakha that they already had in place is getting pretty long.
Bro, when I break down what happened in that praise house, Maji, your jaw's gonna hit the floor. Like it looks like New Testament, the Messianic tradition from the New Testament mixed with Old Testament law. And they literally, bro, they literally talk about the biblical law like it's a whole thing. Like they don't follow the state law. They follow the biblical law. Like they literally have like
they have their own courts. So that
in
that
the praise house, they have their own Holocaust courts, bro.
Right.
Wow.
Which is important. Part of Judaism is having your own courts.
And they use the Bible as the judgment tool. And again the Old Testament at that.
Sheesh.
That's Romanian Judaism. From everything I've been looking at, it looks a lot like what you would see in modern day Romanian Judaism and what you would think Messianic Judaism looked between the time after Yeshua's death to present, or to like the medieval age. That ended up in West Africa.
And what it looks like to me is
it ended
like,
up with the Gullah Geechee too.
Yeah, and what it looks like to me is a blending of that, because you see that influence coming from North Africa all day. You can't say that you don't, and people who say that you don't, they're tripping. Like even though like there was a large Karaite population in North Africa, you can still see that whole stuff coming in, right? From Egyptian migrations and whatnot, and that has to be taken into account, because you have people amongst like the Wolof, the Mandinka, Fulani talking like, no, our people, like they came from Egypt down to East Africa and then came over here and whatnot, right? But you also got to follow that and understand like they made multiple migrations down that route. And the first one was right after they left Egypt and whatnot, right? So like they didn't have so you can see to where like some of the traditions are super old. Like there's cats like in West Africa, like when it comes to the Sabbath, they don't even talk. They don't even talk. You feel what I'm saying? Like they go old school with it. And then you have people that come through later who have different traditions with it. You know what I'm saying? But like it's a mixture of both and whatnot. And it's beautiful how it blends and fuses, because you have no books but an oral tradition. You know what I'm saying? You have so it's like what you keep saying. Like even Karaites have an oral tradition. You know what I'm saying? And so you see the whole breakdown, and it looks exactly, and this is the part that you're gonna love, Rue. Like, so this is the part that looks Romani. Like, so when you get into the way they do things like heirs property amongst the Geechee, or how they deal with physical stuff, like physical, tangible things, in terms of like how they build like burial societies, how they built like when you learn, bruh, how they were taking care of the sick and taking care of people, like the way they did it was, you're gonna be like, oh my God, this is straight out the text. The way, like this, like the New Testament version, right? So we're like, it's the way Christ instructs the people to take care of each other. It's amazing. But then on top of that, you're going to see, oh wow, and it's time for the first Harvest Festival. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see Old Testament stuff that you don't see in the New Testament too much. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, a lot of that stuff, like what you're talking about, harvest festivals, they're there. That you just you got to know what to look for. But yeah, I would say a lot of even in the New Testament.
No, I got you.
They take on some different names in what you would call Pharisaic Judaism. But it's so interesting how we got a group of quote unquote moderates, or what did you call them, Darbyites, who want to say that they're Israelites. They want to connect to Israelite identity, but they do not actually want to do anything that the Israelites did. And then you have a small percentage of people like us here who actually want to build something, and we get no traction. They get all that traction and we get none, but we actually want to build something. They just want to fill their pockets. It's a sad state.
The tables shall be turned in the long run.
And somebody play that Sister E thing. I mean that Alonzo thing.
Yeah, somebody pull it up on their side. I'm getting ready to go to bed. And play it. No dead air, please. No dead air. Y'all gonna give dead air. End it.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
That Alonzo clip.
Yeah, just play the video, and then when you guys finish, if y'all are going to discuss it, discuss. If not, end it.
All
no,
right.
don't use mine. Pull it up.
Oh, it's got to be pulled up on.
Yeah, so you can play it. Yeah.
Let me see. Give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah, my fault, fam. I had to go get my uncle right quick.
Where is this? This is on Abu's channel?
Yeah.
Give me a second. Abu.
Abu stay swinging.
Abu Amar Al Masiha.
No, I was gonna say just put in Abu Hammer, like so, just Abu CHAMR, and he'll be fine. Like,
yeah, I got it. I'll put the link in the private chat and I'll pull it up just in case. All right, here we go. And there we are right there. Rid of that. All right, can y'all see?
Yep.
All right, tell me if you hear echo.
Greetings. Earlier today, I was on Berean TV, and right after I finished there, someone in the live chat informed me that Sister E had gone live on her channel and that she had mentioned me among others. So I went over to Sister E's channel and I left a comment in the live chat, and that's the comment that you see on your screen now. And she invited me on to her show to discuss the cats controversy. Now, I feel that our brief conversation offered some helpful clarifications, so I'm going to play it in its entirety here. Before I do so, however, I wanted to also show something else from Sister E, which I have not previously shown on this channel, and it's what she said back on December 21st, 2020, in the immediate wake of the cats controversy. You see, my initial video on the cat sock puppet dropped on December 20th of 2020, and Pastor Kelly promised to go live the very next day. He wound up canceling that evening show, so Sister E went live instead that evening. I think this clip provides an interesting look at the sort of mix of uncertainty and trust in the good doctor that was swirling around in her at that time. Also, I think it provides a helpful bookend of sorts where we can juxtapose what it was like at the start with how things are now, a little over 2 years later. So this clip will run for a little less than 2.5 minutes. It's actually a compilation of 2 clips, so I'll post the timestamps noting the precise places where these clips can be found. And of course, I'll also share a link in the video description. So let's watch this, and then we'll get to the discussion that Sister E and I had today. And fair use.
The pews. Y'all in these pews, but y'all shall see. The fight is not over yet. That's all I got to say. I'm not saying nothing else. They have sworn me to secrecy. I am not telling the secrets. So you all... I am not. Stop getting me to tell the secrets. I'm not going to tell the secrets. Stop it. Y'all gonna have to wait. I am not finna tell the secrets, but it's very interesting. So just wait. Pastor Kelly's thing, I think is gonna be good. That I know of. I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's some decent information. Y'all, my throat. So y'all know we don't walk away without fighting. That's all I gotta say. Not telling the secrets. Definitely not telling the secrets. I will get voted off the island if I tell the secrets. Put it like this, there's a reason why I'm tired right now. And I was not gonna go live today because I thought Pastor Kelly was gonna go live, and I said, I'm just gonna sit in the chat. And then he says, And then he says, "Hey, not going live." I said, "Wow." Well, I saw it just like y'all. And then y'all just said, "Hey, Sister E, go live." I was like, I don't even know what I'm gonna talk about. But just know that the fight is not over. Oh wow. This world is amusing. Was Abu caught lying about something regarding the pews? Y'all keep trying to get me to tell all the secrets. I'm really, they keeping it as Kelly's not telling me a lot either, though. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know as much as I normally. Not that he's not telling me. It's just been a busy day that I have not really got a chance to talk to anybody. Because everybody's trying to wrap up from work for the holidays, so I'm in the office. Oh, God.
Okay, so having seen that, we can now jump into the discussion which Sister E and I had today on her channel. The discussion lasted about 12 minutes, and I'll play here the entire discussion, like I said earlier, including a portion where I briefly share with her the idea of me playing the discussion on my own channel. Now, quick technical note, on a couple of occasions, I mentioned a correspondence I had with Yeshaya Ma'arab, also known as Mr. Blacktastic. And checking that correspondence after the discussion, I see now that it was slightly different from how I remembered it and how I described it in the discussion. So at a certain point, I'm going to put the whole discussion on the screen so those who are interested can see precisely what was said and contrast it with how I remembered it. But whatever the case, I found this brief conversation between Sister E and myself helpful. I found it helpful and valuable. You see, Sister E makes clear that she did not intend to give the impression that Benaiah Israel's argument about cats had somehow settled the matter. And I have a previous video about, how confident Sister E seemed about Benaiah's argument in the past. But in this discussion, she makes clear that she was not convinced by Benaiah's argument. So I appreciate that. And interestingly, she even proposes that perhaps Benaiah himself did not consider the argument as definitively closing the matter. Now, I'm not sure where Benaiah himself actually stands on that, but either way, as I say in the discussion, I think this takes Sister E out of the cats discussion. In my opinion, the only thing that ever put her in the discussion in the first place was her apparent defense of the sock puppet. The one time she seemed to confidently assert the existence of cats was in that show from April of 2021, but today she stated that that was not her intention. She made clear that she was not and is not as confident as she might have seemed. So in the interest of charity, I'll accept her at her word. And so with that, like I said, I'm going to play the entire discussion, and this will run for about 12 minutes. And then after our discussion ends, as a bit of closing audio, I'll also play some statements that she made on the Berean TV a little less than 3 weeks ago. And with that, enjoy the discussion, and afterwards, share any comments, questions, or criticisms you might have. And as always, God bless.
Yes, Abu. So I want you to come up here, and I want you. Oh, yes, I mentioned you. So come on up here. Not afraid to talk to you. See, I think the problem with you, Abu, come on up here. Only give this to Abu to come up. Abu, you're welcome to come up. This will be your first time. This will be your first time, possibly your last time. So nobody's scared of you. So come on up. Yes, and I'll be respectful and polite as well. So, Abu, so are you saying that I'm lying and I said I know cats?
I'm not sure I even mentioned you, but no, definitely not.
I'm pausing just to say that I saw this video as well today, and she mentioned about maybe 5 times about somebody making the claim that she knew cats and spoke to cats. I don't remember any of us ever saying that she knew cats or spoke to cats. Do you
That,
remember?
my boy, is what you call a straw man argument, because nobody's ever made that argument. Not a single solitary time. So what she can't defend is what she actually said. So she's going to try to defend something that no one's claiming. And so she can be right about what no one's claiming. And that's why I love how Will just came on straight off the rip and was like, I'm not sure I even mentioned you. And he didn't. And I definitely didn't bring her up. Right.
All right, just double check.
So I have a question. Have I ever mentioned cats, said that I know cats or I've talked to cats? Have I ever said that I met cats?
No, I definitely. Nor did I say you said you met cats.
Okay, so what's your point with cats and me? Let's go ahead and hash that out.
Okay, well, just to be fair, if this is a reaction to what was just on Berean, I don't think I mentioned you. I was talking about where certain other people went, and I can get to you and cats in a moment, but it was where other people went with the cats thing, where it wasn't just cats by itself. It was then the claim that cats had to go into hiding, and then the claim about, government watch lists and all this kind of stuff, But as far as you were concerned, I think the one time where you did weigh in on the cats thing, where you did seem somewhat confident, was when you had Benaiah on in April of, was it 2021? Yeah, April of 2021, where he put forth the argument that Katz is this guy in Georgia who's a scholar of Gothic languages. At that point, it did seem like you were co-signing what Benaiah was saying. Now, one thing that's interesting to note, recently I had a correspondence in some live chat with Blacktastic, and he came to your defense on that. He said that people need to understand that even if it seemed like you were agreeing in that moment, sometimes we can be roped into something, into agreeing with something that maybe we don't fully understand what we're agreeing with, or something like that. Nothing disrespectful to you. The point is, he was saying that if it's a one-off, we can't center everything on it. I think that's an interesting point by Blacktastic. So, maybe I shouldn't hold that against you. That was his argument. But yeah, that was the one time that you did seem confident. Otherwise, you've mostly been silent on it and would redirect it, as you said.
Okay.
Now, here's, if I could say one last thing, forgive me, and I apologize for interrupting. Though I have never argued that the cats thing has to be put on everybody, right? As far as I was concerned, in the beginning, I was even willing to say that even Kelly was exempt from that. I remember when it first broke, Kelly had a very interesting community post about deception and stuff like that. But whatever the case. So I was even willing not to put it on Kelly, I think. And so I definitely wasn't going to put it on you. And I'd never claimed that it has to go on the entire Israelite spectrum. I think it only applies to people who attempt to defend it, who put themselves into the conversation. And I think where your name came up for me was then in April of 2021, when you had Benaiah on and you seemed to be co-signing his position. And go ahead, I'll yield. Sorry about that.
So I was more so co-signing the fact that he discovered some information. But far as co-signing, saying that that's cats, do you think that I was 100% backing him up, or was I just agreeing with the conversation that we had? Said, okay, yeah, that's good information.
You want my honest impression? My honest impression was at the time, now I could be wrong about this, my honest impression was that you were saying that he was correct in shutting down the argument, that all the cat stuff was nonsense, and that now people owe Brown an apology. It seemed to me like you were agreeing that he shut down the whole argument, not that he was bringing an interesting point that needs to be considered in the debate.
Okay, so ultimately, when we had that conversation and he brought that up, I was agreeing with the fact of, he said that he discovered who Katz was. Still not saying that that was Katz. I would just say, okay, cool. If that's true, and I maybe not have said if, I should have said if that's true, then yes, they do need to apologize to Brown if that's Katz. But far as me saying beyond a shadow of a doubt, that's Katz, and I know that's Katz, I've never said that. And I've never held that position. Now, am I in agreement with all the stuff that transpired? No, I am not in agreement with it. That's why I've always said, take it to Brown. Brown is the point of contact when it comes to the Katz conversation. We only went off of information that was provided to us, but never any of us have ever said, we've met Katz, I know that's Katz, I know that is Katz. None of us have ever said that. So I will need you to do this, Abu. When they do bring my name up on Berean's channel as pertains to that, as if I am pushing the argument, I need you to make them aware that I've said, and I've said it numerous times, I don't know who Katz is. I'm only agreeing with the conversation at hand to say, okay, if that's Katz, let's proceed from here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll say this, and this ties back in with Blacktastic's recent defense of you. If your position now is that you were not necessarily saying it's...
Don't say
no,
now.
I'm saying... Okay, what I'm saying... Okay, let me try to phrase this in a more, polite way. I apologize if that sounded disrespectful. That wasn't my intention. If you're clarifying that you were not saying that Benaiah's presentation shut down the discussion on cats, then that's fine. Honestly, it takes you out of the discussion, because that's the only time I can think of where you seem to be involved in it. So if that's your explanation, that takes, in keeping with Blacktastic's defense of you recently, I think it takes you out of the conversation. So yeah, I'd be happy to say that. And if you want, I can even, if it's okay with you, I can even put this conversation on my own channel. you know,
Okay.
and link back. Anything I take from your channel, I always link back to the video I took it from, so that way people can see the fuller context.
And I understand that, but I will say this much, Abu, at times you'll do play it like, see, that's what she said. Understand that, you know how you went on a conversation with someone and they bring some information to you. And you say, okay, yeah, if this is true, yes, they do need to apologize to Brown. But I have never, ever, ever held to the argument of that's cats. But Naya said he found the information. I was good with the information. If we find out later on down the line that there is no cats, I am good with it. Either or, that does not destroy me, because never once have I stood in solidarity and said solidarity with the community to say I've met cats and I know that's cats. I've never said that.
Wait a minute, I'm pausing really quick to ask. So that video, that the beginning part of this video, when Sister E was like kind of giddy in 2020 about the secret information. Was that secret information cats?
Can't tell you, bro, because it's secret, right? Don't know.
That's
I can tell you as soon as I'm done with them playing this one here. Like, I'm gonna play the clip for her from April of 2021 on her channel and what she got to say. And y'all can determine for yourself if she was agreeing with it or not. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, nah, bro, I wish I could tell you, but you know, I mean, you know, it is with them secret conversations and then, you know, and like, you know, firsthand, bro.
Yep. All right.
Well, just to be fair, though, I don't think anyone was saying that you claim to have met cats. Just to be clear.
Yeah. But the thing is, I've had numerous phone calls today within the past 15 minutes that the argument on Berean's channel is being spun that I'm lying, and I know. And I saw when you said in the chat, because I saw it myself, when you made the I guess the notion.
Hey, pause it up right quick.
Might be lying. That's not.
Now she's saying she got a bunch of phone calls saying that this is the argument coming from Berean's channel and whatnot. Like, this is pure speculation from my part, but I wholeheartedly believe that it was Pastor Kelly trying to gaslight Sister E into going live and just take it, like blocking from him or whatnot, because so he could try to prep some stuff or whatnot, because he's catching all kind. He's not looking good right now, because he just spent a lot of time and energy putting out a couple documentaries with him and Benaiah talking about this whole breadcrumb stuff, and again these pews in Georgia and this cats thing plays with the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So I think he was just trying. I promise you, I can't prove it. This is pure speculation. If I'm wrong, my apologies to the man of the Most High, whatnot. But it seems like she was gaslit. She says, like, well, somebody called me and was telling me this. Like, well, okay, so what's what's making you go live with these accusations that people are saying this stuff about you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? You didn't jump in the chat over there. You saying you're watching the chat, but you didn't jump in the chat. Like, you didn't jump on the live with it to go find out what Abu was saying. You've done that before. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like somebody was trying to get her to do this live and try to cause some distraction and whatnot.
Is this documentary coming out on YouTube?
Oh, it's already out there.
No, I didn't even know.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's like Road to Savannah Breadcrumbs or whatnot, where they try to talk about it's amazing. No new information has come out from them in the past couple of years. They just recycled all the same stuff they've been saying. Damn. And it's when I break it down, it's hilarious. But
how long is it?
It's over a couple hours.
A couple of hours?
Yeah, it's a lot of fluff and filler. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of long.
Yeah, like a lot of fluff and filler with no new information, bro. And again, it's basically they're trying to make their big claim from the thing is that the PBS documentary about the black church was a conspiracy hit piece to try to distract to stop the awakening and get people to not believe that there was actually sola trail on the actual pews, and that there's no way Arabic could be on the pews and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to back this ahistorical rendering of Israel with a bunch of yods and a Zion and oh my God, it's anyway. But he's also trying to make it say Israel time, and like trying to make people think like it's like a pointing towards an awakening or a rising of Israel. It's hilarious.
Oh man,
it's sad. Like, so, and this is what I'm saying, bro. Like, I'm happy for brothers like you and sisters like Shari whatnot, and people like Rue, and people like Blacktastic and whatnot, And you're shooting people like saying like, you know, we got to draw the line. We're not these people. We're not Hebrew Israelites. We're not like we're descendants of West African Jewry. We're African Obscene. We're Black Jew. Whatever you want to call yourself, right? But we're not these cats, and we're trying to do something serious with them. And so y'all are gonna hear us talking about similar topics like languages on pews or DNA or whatever. But we're not these cats. We're not making the claims that these cats are making. Please understand.
No, that's facts though. But all right.
Fear, because I've never said that I've known him.
I'm not sure I remember that. I'd have to see what
That's
the
the
quote
one
is.
when
Did someone send you a screenshot?
No, that's when I saw when Blacktastic said, I honestly believe. Well, you tell me, when Blacktastic supported my argument and said, no, none of us knows cats. Why was he saying that?
What he was saying is what I was saying is that it seemed like you clearly believed. Well, let me rephrase that.
Shout out to him, boo. I love how he put this
when
together.
you had Benaiah on in April.
Because like she keeps going, she's doing her classic Sister E things where she's blending and mixing conversations and stuff doesn't happen the way she remembers it, but it's got to happen. So he's just like, you know what? Did someone send you a screenshot? Well, yeah, maybe no, blah blah. And she brings up a whole nother conversation. So he's like, okay, let me just go ahead and throw this up right quick. This is what I said in the chat, fam. This is what's going on. Like, just man, shout out to Abu, man, because this is how you got to do it, right? Because otherwise, they're going to make the tisk about like some stuff you never said. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Alonzo, bro, because he knows what it is. It's all about.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
And that's EB right there.
It seemed to me that you were clearly.
I swear that's you in the clip, bro. I swear that's you in the clip, bro.
This is what I was saying at the time. It seemed to me that you were clearly co-signing his argument. Blacktastic was saying just because it seems that way, that doesn't mean that she actually agreed with it. You have to understand that these conversations, when they're going live, sometimes a person can say something and, you know, not intend it the way it seems and stuff like that, you know? And so, yeah, so it seems now you're saying that what you intended is different from how I interpreted it. That was Blacktastic's argument. Okay, I'll accept it. But yeah, I was merely saying that you seemed quite confident. So here's what the contrast was. The contrast was between that presentation in April of 2021 when you had Benaiah on, and what came out with the private conversation with a portion of the Yap Gang, where you said you're 95% certain that the cats thing was a lie, right? And so
actually, it was 99%, not 95.
No, I thought she said 95%.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was 99%.
I'm pretty sure she said 95, Ebert.
Okay.
I will put your rent check on it. You know what I'm saying? Not mine, but I'll definitely put yours.
Okay.
I was contrasting the two things and saying she seemed basically 100% certain when she was with Benaiah. And that's when Blacktastic stepped in and argued in your defense that I shouldn't build too much. And so, by the way, I hope you'll at least say quietly in your heart, credit to Blacktastic. He was saying that I shouldn't build too much on that one video because sometimes, you know, when we're in these live discussions with people we're friends with, people we're cool with, sometimes we just sort of go.
I might have to clip this out later because I'm going to talk about it later for sure, definitely. People got to understand, my man Blacktastic is literally defending Sister E that she attempted to drag him through the streets lying about your boy. Like, I mean, like, shout out to Blacktastic, man. Like, I appreciate the OG's example of what I mean. I do got a lot of integrity out there. You know what I'm saying? He's got a lot. That's a real
one right there.
Yeah, for real. Because like he didn't have to do that, and he was like, "No, don't misrepresent her position. This is the thing." You know what I'm saying? Like she might not necessarily believe this. Like, no, man, that's like Sister E. Like, understand that's a real G right there. You know what I'm saying? And you treated it messed up. Like, you owe him an apology, fam. You owe him a sincere apology. You got to agree.
Go along, and things that aren't intended, impressions that aren't intended, may be given. That was his argument, and you seem to be corroborating to some extent his argument.
And before you all go do hit pieces on Benaiah was not saying that he met cats. He said that he found.
No, of course not. Nobody's saying that's the argument.
I want you to make sure that y'all. I'm sorry, you're good. I want to make sure that you do not go and do that as well. Because what's going on is there are credible people that's just as, I don't want to say in the dark, but still have never met cats. And I don't need them to be drugged in the mud as if they're lying.
Well,
that's not
this is what I said.
denial. Oh, his device got disconnected. So it says device not connected. So I guess something happened to his phone. I'll wait for him to come up. Hold on one second.
Sorry.
All right, Abu. You're good.
What I was gonna say is, I don't think anyone claimed that Benaya or Kelly or you or anyone else was saying that they met cats. What the issue was is that, and I found that very unfortunate. I think if anyone looks at my videos where I mentioned Benaya before.
And again, I just want to point out, I don't think anybody in Yap has said that she met cats or spoke to cats either. No one in Yap or who was affiliated with Yap has ever made that claim either. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, no one ever. I could definitively say like no one's ever made the claim, and it's literally preposterous that she even claims that someone made the claim. And you can see it's like, well, I just want to make sure no one does make the claim, and just make sure, Wabu, like if they do talk about it, just defend me. Like whoa, like that man, that was such. Shout out to Abu, because I could. There's no way I couldn't have laughed the loudest laugh right there when she was like trying to have him defend her. You know what I'm saying? Situations over on Branch Channel. I was like, yo, when did you ever go on to the like every time you've gone on Branch Channel to defend your boys, you would take a shot to the Boo, but you want Boo to defend you. That's what I was saying. Like, man, shout out to Abu too, man. I told him behind the scenes, like, I was like, bro, I appreciate your example too, because there's no way I could have had your manners in that situation with the way she's talked about you, fam. Like, if I was here, there's no way. It's like shout out to Ibri, shout out to Shari, shout out to Abu, shout out to you know what I'm saying, to Blacktastic, because y'all are better than me, and I appreciate learning from your example, fam.
No, I was thinking to myself, Abu did do pretty well. I actually need to go back to what Abu's doing, because what he is doing is pretty upstanding. It's actually really inspiring.
Hold on, what have you done? They said you need to go back to what Abu's doing.
Man, I feel like I've been rusty lately, bro.
Oh yeah, the one time like you halfway raised your voice to Sister E and almost thought about cussing because she was, bro. What are you talking about? See that, and that's why I appreciate your example, young sir, because like even to you, like when you have like the octave on your voice is the first time I've ever heard your voice change levels, right? You didn't even yell. You just got like, you sounded like you were thinking about getting stern. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
you were yelling in your head and whatnot. He's like, you know, and that's as loud as it got. But that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I appreciate y'all, man, because this is how we need to represent ourselves, and what we're seeing how we need to not represent ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all for particularly the younger cats and leading the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really proud of watching y'all today. Like, just sitting back, seeing y'all, like, man, y'all are killing it right now. Just beautiful to see that. You got it, man.
Thank you, facts, bro.
For April of 2021, I spoke about him very glowingly and respectfully. I think that was an unfortunate turn. It seemed to me that he clearly, unambiguously, not claiming that he met cats, but claiming that, you know, here it is, the argument is being shut down. You know, that seemed to be his clear argument, that it's being shut down by pointing to this guy in Georgia who doesn't seem to have any background in Hebrew. You know, it's a person in a completely different continent. It was an unfortunate turn. And so, but yeah, the argument was never that people were claiming to have met cats, although Kelly recently claimed that there's an audio clip of Katz's voice, and that he also said he somehow confirmed cats. I don't know what he meant by that. He kept it kind of vague. Whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm good. Anything else?
Was that all you wanted to discuss? I mean, I'm happy to. I know there's a lot in the chat. I can always jump off if you want me to jump off.
Well, I'm getting ready to close. I just want to clarify what was going on Beran's channel. That's not true. Like I said,
okay.
Hopefully,
Beran keeps it up. We can listen closely to what he said. I don't think you were brought up within.
Okay.
I certainly didn't mention you explicitly with cats. At least I don't think so. But we'll see. We'll check the replay.
Okay. So just make sure that when they say that whenever they try to pull that subject point up, that you clarify that we've had this discussion and we should be good now. So
you better go white knight for Sister E.
ultimately, I do.
Don't you forget about that. Don't you forget to go white knight for that, sister, bro.
Do they have those 10 sources yet? I would love to see Blacktastic and Dante debate.
I don't know about that. Haven't been following that controversy too closely.
Okay. I would love to see that debate. So, all right. Well, I'm getting ready to close because I got to get back. I just got off of lunch. So, all righty. Thanks
for having me on. Good conversation.
Yeah, and it's an ugly topic and the reason why people like, well, E, why don't you blast him? Right now, our community is still rebuilding from this incident. Me blasting Majors publicly, because again, I'm 95% sure think that Majors is live.
You have never heard me say, yes, there's a cats. Yes, I know there's a cats. There's a cats. Has anybody ever heard me say
you didn't. No, you didn't.
So with that being said, with them saying that I said 95%, yes, have you ever seen me and Brown rock together? Other than when he wanted to present cats.
Not as much as Kelly Brown.
I only rock with Dante, Teo, and different people in my community. I can't call anybody a liar until I fully have the information. Do I trust him? So be it. No, I don't. If I don't trust him, that's me. And again, I'm not saying anything. I'm not mincing my words. I said what I said in the private conversation with Yap. Let's call that out. I will never mince my words. I said it. Yes, I said 95%. And I'm going to stand on what I said. I said it in a private conversation with Yap. Let me emphasize this. A private conversation because I felt some kind of way. I was pissed off and I was upset. And I said it in a private conversation because I was upset. And I'm still upset about the whole situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Greetings.
I'm putting cases
Let
on
me
all
begin this
you
video
bitches.
by saying shout out to
Yeah, you're right. 95%, which is very close to 100%, but we'll just not focus on that. But
see, look at that integrity, right? The young man. See again, one more time. I gotta commend the young man's example. See how quick he said he was wrong.
95%, just that 5%. You don't.
And like Brent said, like he called out. He's like, yeah, he said if you're 95% sure somebody's molesting your daughter, you're not gonna go do nothing about it. I'm like, yo, I was like, oh no,
bro, that.
He sounds like, yo, he called it out.
Brian been on a good one for a minute now.
Man,
he been on a good rip.
Shout out to Brent and Bruce. You know what I'm saying? Because Brand been on a good one and Bruce been financing the joint, bro. Keep doing the thing.
It's a good point, though. If you're 95% sure of anything.
Right. That dude be like, he be working them shifts, arresting all them black folk, and then sending the money to Berea. That's crazy.
Man, you know what I'm saying?
I'm 95% sure my house will burn down. I'm still going to live in my house.
I'm 95% sure this food is poison, but I'm still going to eat it.
Oh, man. That's bad judgment, but that's my opinion. It's bad judgment, but that's my opinion.
Oh, okay, that's another video right there. Okay.
Yeah, it's a different one.
Yeah, hold on real quick. So I'm about to play another video from the good brother Alonzo, where he's demonstrating what was said in that April 2021 conversation. Hold on. Yeah, that's the one right there.
Stating that she personally doesn't trust Brown on this one. You know, perhaps there's a small bit of vindication in that. I nonetheless want to say that before, as I said, a fraction of her actual thoughts were made public. Prior to that, her public stance on the Katz fiasco was rather different. It was much more confident on the side of Brown's position. And so with that in mind, I'd like to play some clips from a show that aired on Sister E's channel back in April of 2021, when she had Benaiah Israel on to, I mean, frankly, to put it bluntly, he came on and he gaslit her audience regarding the Cats fiasco, basically telling people that the people who told the truth about Cats had to apologize to the one man who lied about Cats. But I want to play some clips from this because I want you to see the sort of confidence that Sister E exuded back then. Admittedly, she lets, Benaya do most of the talking, but it's nonetheless interesting to see the points where she agrees with him, where she seems to clearly co-sign him. So I want to play about 15 minutes from that show, and I'm going to occasionally stop it and maybe do short replays, intersperse it with my own brief comments. And I'll link to both of these videos in the video description for those who want to see the full shows. But jumping right in, fair use.
What I'm starting to see is like there are distractions, that are out there.
Yeah.
And I want our Hebrew community to feel confident in their fellow brothers and sisters that are in this labor, And to that end, I would like for the first time to address this Richard Katz. I don't even know what to call it. I call it foolishness. This Richard Katz foolishness.
Yeah.
And so if you don't mind, Sister E, I would like to share my screen. And what I'm gonna do is, family, is if you're in front of your computer, I want everybody that's listening to this live. Everybody that's listening to this live, open up your web browser. We are gonna shut this Richard Katz nonsense down right now. And we're gonna stay in bounds because I do want to honor people's privacy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick to what was released publicly by Richard Katz himself. So I'm going to stick to what was released publicly by Richard Katz himself. And we're going to take a look at this, and then we're going to talk on the tail end of this about how you got sucked in, right? Because that's another discussion point, because some of us got sucked in and we started saying some things. And I'm sitting over on the sideline, and I have to admit, I do have a little bit more insight than most folks, but at the same time, I'm looking at them like, this is foolishness. Why are people even listening or even entertaining this? And it's just kind of bubbled up. So movies coming out, we talked about the church. Let's go ahead and nip this thing in the bud. So let me pull up. Hang on a second. Let me pull up my my browser. All right. So everybody go to Google. We're going to do this together. Everybody go to Google. So the question on the table is, Richard Katz a made up guy? Like, did we, come up with some IPs? And I don't even know what that whole story is about, but something weird about IPs and stuff to make up a guy. Like we got time to sit down. That's what's frustrating. We got time to sit down and make somebody up. All this research we're doing, but we got time to sit down and make somebody up. All right. I'm gonna stop commentary.
If I can interrupt here real quick, just for those who aren't familiar with the background to this, what's about to happen. The background to this is that prior to this, they had brought out some emails which they attributed to a Tel Aviv-based professor, a professor in Tel Aviv who was supposed to be a professor of Hebrew linguistics, and these emails were supposed to settle a discussion about Hebrew. And upon closer inspection, most agreed that the best explanation was that this professor, who was named Richard Katz in the emails, was a sock puppet, and that the emails were most likely written by Will Brown. So what Benaya is going to do here is he's going to show that there is a linguist named Richard Katz out there. However, few people fell for this because the person he points to is in the state of Georgia in the United States. So he's in a completely different continent. And aside from that, this man is not a professor of Hebrew. He's a professor of Gothic languages, Germanic languages. And even in the guy's own LinkedIn information, he doesn't list Hebrew among the languages that he has any proficiency in. So, it just didn't fit at all. Nonetheless, this is addressed in other videos, and I'll link to those videos as well. Videos that discuss this in more detail in the video description. But just wanted to give you the background to that. And now let's jump into Benaya's case, and let's watch Sister E's reactions.
So everybody go to Google, type in Richard Katz, Richard, and we're just going to validate that Richard Katz is who he says he is using his own publicly available information. Okay. So type in Richard, Richard. I'm not typing because as soon as I start typing, you're going to see the search thing, and I'm just trying to hold off on that. and then space Katz, that's Katz, space University of Georgia. Richard Katz, University of Georgia. And so your screen should look like my screen. Can you see my screen, Sister E?
I can see your screen.
You see what it says? It says Richard Katz is a trained, what does it say, family?
Linguist.
Linguist. All right. Specializes in language history and how grammatical features comes about. He earned his PhD from the University of Georgia. So for this exercise, we're just going to go one place. Like I said, I'm going to honor his privacy. So I'm going to click on the link that says Linguistics, University of Georgia. This is the University of Georgia's webpage, right? You'll see it, UGA at the top. Department of Linguistics. You see it? Franklin College of Arts and Science, University of Georgia, right? And so on this page, like for those people that have gotten their masters and their doctorates from University of Georgia, like they'll list their names, like, and they'll list it by the year. And so I just want to show you that this information has been out for a minute. Let's see, because I believe he was a 2016. Yep. So there he is, Richard Katz, PhD, 2016, linguistics, and this was his dissertation. So when you're applying for your doctor, you're doing the dissertation. At least that's what the case was in 2016. So I want people to take a moment, look at it, take it all in. You have just seen Richard Katz, and this is based off of the public information that he himself has released. And we're cross-checking that with the University of Georgia. So we're on the University of Georgia's website. So family, at this point, no one should be bringing up Richard Katz as some sort of fake dude. This is utter foolishness.
Did you catch that? Did you notice how right as Benaiah is basically saying that the matter is closed, that it's finished, that it's foolishness? Sister E is saying that he's correct. Let's do a quick replay and then continue on.
At this point, no one should be bringing up Richard Katz as some sort of fake dude. This is utter foolishness. And if I could talk to my brothers and sisters just for a moment.
You want me to move the screen or you good?
Yeah, I'm going to switch it over to my, let me see if I can switch it over to PowerPoint. I guess I got to stop sharing. Hang on, family. Is it showing up, Sister E?
Yep, this.
Okay. But just to kind of finish up our thoughts on Richard Katz. So everyone in the chat, everyone on this live, if you participated in the exercise, you have just confirmed with your own eyes that Richard Katz is who he says he is. You have just confirmed with your own eyes that my cousin May just did not make him up.
Once again, did you notice the confident agreement, the confident declaration that Benaiah is correct? Let's replay that real quick.
If you participated in the exercise, you have just confirmed with your own eyes that Richard Katz is who he says he is. You have just confirmed with your own eyes that my cousin May just did not make him up, right?
I know y'all heard that.
Yeah, correct. Said it like.
I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna say that was like an amen in the church when you know the pastor off, but you just backing him up.
God expects you to do what the Lord wants you to do. Like those of you who realize that the Lord wants you to give generously into his church. Amen. Don't ask no questions. Don't ask how come why come the pastor have to have him a nice house? Why come pastor got to have a nice car? Don't ask. I said don't ask. I said don't ask. No questions. Just give the money. Get the collection plate right on that side. Nigga, get it around on that side. We're gonna now have a beat selection from the choir.
You have just confirmed with your own eyes that anyone that came out and said that this was made up This was utter, complete foolishness. If you got caught up in this, right, and maybe you started to say some things, maybe you started to get fooled by the people that took you for a ride, because literally that's what they did. They took you for a ride.
Correct.
If you got caught up on that and you said some things, you need to send my cousin an IM, an email, or a text and apologize. Straight up. They took you for a ride.
Correct.
If you got caught up on that and you said some things, you need to send my cousin an IM, an email, or a text and apologize. Straight up. I mean, if you're man enough, woman enough to say things like, you know, well, he need to do this or he need to do that, right? To condemn the man, when really at the end of the day, he was doing the noble thing, right? So now is the time to put this thing to bed, right, family? So
wow. So what they did was strong arm them.
Yeah.
To hold back the truth is almost like what the mafia would do. If they want you to shut up, they're gonna shut you up.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the approach that they took. They literally called the professor, validated that he was who he was.
Exactly.
Validated that he interacted, or possibly validated he interacted with Maury Brown,
right?
And then started bombarding the administrative office to say he is interacting with Black Hebrew Israelites.
Wait a minute,
Right.
go back.
The radical Black Hebrew Israelites.
Wow.
I want to make sure I heard something right. So can you go back maybe like 10 seconds?
Or possibly validated he interacted with Maury Brown,
right?
And then started bombarding the administrative office to say he is interacting with Black Hebrew Israelites.
So she said that he spoke with Maury Brown, and that they called the administrative office, and that there was claims being made that BHI, that basically he's being harassed by BHI, or that Christian apologetics are harassing him about BHI.
They were claiming at the time that Abu was and other Christians were harassing the office or whatnot, claiming that people were BHI and whatnot, or claiming that people were fraternizing with BHI and whatnot. And as a matter of fact, it actually wasn't Abu. It was a Christian teacher or whatnot. It had nothing to do with Abu. And again, they never apologized for it. They never apologized for trying to drag Abu's name through the mud.
So,
but yet she wants Abu to defend her on Beren's channel.
Wow. And she's also saying in this that Maury Brown. Can you go back a little bit? I just want to make sure I hear that. I don't want to miss.
I'll go back like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Because
he was doing the noble thing, right? So now is the time to put this thing to bed, right, family? So
wow. So what they did was strong arm them.
Yeah.
To hold back the truth is almost like what the mafia would do. If they want you to shut up, they're gonna shut you up.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the approach that they took. They literally called the professor, validated that he was who he was.
Exactly.
Validated that he interacted, or possibly validated he interacted with Maury Brown,
right?
And then started bombarding the administrative office to say he is interacting with Black Hebrew Israelites.
Right. Now, the radical Black Hebrew Israelites.
Wow.
So she said that they called the professor, i.e. Katz. Not her, by the way, not saying that her and William Brown, but other people called Katz.
You got it. And Abu pointed out that again that people like Kelly are claiming that there's audio of Katz, and so like Abu keeps saying in his previous video, well, like shout out to Sister E because she just confirmed that you can't say that Katz is real now. You gotta prove it now still. So it's still an open-ended argument now.
Man.
Shout out to Alonzo.
Yup. Shout out to Alonzo.
Yeah.
Wow. Radical. So you and no one wants to be tied with a radical group. I don't.
Exactly.
No one wants to. So they literally did that. And when they did it, like I said, the game plan was now we're going to take this to the very platform where all of them are.
Right.
And that goes on Berean. Berean is that one platform that the Israelites, the Kemetic community, and the Christian community are all on one time or another. And we're going to use him as the voice. Wow.
Yep. And you think about it. I just want our listeners to kind of put that into remembrance. Like, think about like all the video lives that they done about it, all the web pages that they had done about it, all knowing all along that he's been out there for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like since 2016, he's been out there all this time, just out there. But they've been kind of running with the story because somebody, we couldn't find him. I guess that was the whole thing. So, you can't find him, even though somebody found him. But I'm gonna leave that one alone. But they couldn't find him, so to speak, and so they kind of ran with this whole narrative, built up this whole deck of cards off of this one lie. And like I said, I just want my family to do a self-evaluation, right? And to see how you got caught up in this, right? How did you get caught up and brought over to the other side? Ask yourself that question, and now that you know that you were dealing with foolishness, the question is, are you going to continue to deal with foolishness?
Correct.
Because now that we've exposed it, now that you've seen it on your own browser, the smart thing would be to leave it alone.
That's so funny. I'm glad it shows that the haters follow me. Thank you, Gomez, for following me. You can give a super chat if you like. He's very angry because they have been exposed, and that's something that a lot of us have been saying. Y'all got to be careful with these folks. They can spin a narrative however they want to spin the narrative. Yeah. We've known that community are a pack of liars. We've called them in numerous lies in numerous situations. And now they're getting mad because the very thing that they built their whole premise on about us is now being torn apart about majors. They meant that they was going to try and come at us because they don't want any truth.
I just wanted to quickly interrupt to say that this next portion is incredible for me personally, as she's about to insinuate that the whole Katz fiasco was cooked up to sort of hide and bury what Booness said about the pews, what David Booness said about the pews. Here, listen to this.
They don't want any truth because they don't want to go back to the original conversation. What did Booness say?
Right.
They don't want to. They want to stick to Katz because they want people to be distracted, even though Katz said the same thing.
Yeah, and just for the record, what Bunis said was, "Don't bring me up in this, and you're misrepresenting what I said." That's what Bunis said. And Bunis is the top man in the game from my state, by the way. He was in Washington. He was at UW. He's the top man in the world when it comes to Solar Trail. Top man in the world. And so even after he said, "Don't involve me, don't bring me up in this, you're misrepresenting what I said," etc., they literally, in this last documentary, put him in there and try to make it seem as if he was narrating what they were saying in terms of his spelling on the pews, in terms of what he rendered Solar Trail to be. Right? So you can go on a UW YouTube page and you can see where Bunis is actually going through the Solar Trail alphabet letter by letter, and he's showing people how to write it. And so what they do is they take that video and they splice it, and they try to make it seem like he's spelling out their word for him, even after he said, "Don't use me in your stuff." Anyway, that just needs to be understood, fam.
Dang, that's crazy, bro.
They want you to be distracted, but they don't ever want to talk about Bunis's original email. I mean, not email, but his original teaching before the email.
Right.
They don't want to do that.
Actually, and honestly, it's the other way around. Will Brown trotted out the Katz emails to get away from and bury the controversy over David Bunis. For those who don't recall, there was a period where Will Brown was claiming that David Bunis confirmed an entire Hebrew sentence in the Solitreo script on the pews. And, they even gave an English translation of that alleged sentence. Of course, they never showed the sentence itself. They didn't much less show it on a pew. But whatever the case, when other people reached out to Bunis, he made clear that he never confirmed such a sentence that was attributed to him. And he made clear that he was misrepresented by Will Brown. That was apparently embarrassing for them. And so they quickly responded to that by declaring that they had a second scholar who was much more full-throated in his declarations about Hebrew on the pews. All right. So like I said, it's the other way around. And by the way, you notice Sister E seems pretty confident about that, about what Katz said. Like, in order for Katz to have said the same thing as Bunis, that implies that Katz exists, Katz is real, and the emails go back to him. All right. So there's a little bit of confidence there as well. But whatever the case, if anyone wants to discuss the Bunis thing, I've always been happy to discuss it, and I'll continue to be happy to be willing to do so. But we're going to close this out with one final clip. Here we go.
I mean, my prayer is that, now that you've seen it for yourself, and
yeah,
you can go to it and check it out again and again as much as you want, who knows. But my thing is that now that you've seen it for yourself, now you know that you were dealing with foolishness. And the question is, are you going to continue to deal with foolishness? That is the question. And like I said, if you said something some kind of way about my cousin, if you put out some videos or chats or whatever, you need to go and apologize. You need to send him a text or an email or whatever method. You need to go and apologize. All right, family. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone.
And once again, you see a bit more of the confident agreement. For example, as Benaiah says that, those who told the truth about Katz have to apologize to Will Brown. Sister E is agreeing with him. That pretty much, sort of conveys confidence about whether or not the cat sock puppet was real. But whatever the case, I hope you found this juxtaposition of differing levels of confidence in April of 2021 and just yesterday in December 30th of this year of 2022. I hope you found this interesting. And as always, I look forward to any comments, questions, or criticisms that anyone may have. And I'll close that here, looking to jump forward to get back into other subjects. And on that note, God bless.
Yeah, so now Sister E is saying that she wasn't agreeing with any of that, and that even Benaiah wasn't necessarily saying it was definitive. Like, so if nothing else, the funny part, like nothing else, like she threw Brown under the bus, and now she's throwing Benaiah under the bus because Benaiah was definitely being emphatic about what he was saying.
House divided cannot stand.
Man, it is what it is.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm. And it's about to get worse because they keep pushing the same concept to where that the same Solitreo is on the pews, and they're pushing the concept that this guy Bunis again, just years later, 2 years later, still right, is confirming what he said. Please don't involve me in this over. Like it's just amazing to me. So that's why it's got to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not looking for a fight, but you know what I'm saying? Like this one's got to go down because the line's got to get drawn in the sand. Because no matter what, there's going to be people who rock with this group, believe in some nonsense, and that's fine. That's cool. But y'all got to get labeled for what y'all are. Y'all are some like just renegade Darbyites and whatnot. And y'all need to go do your thing over there with that. You know what I'm saying? There's some people who want to make legitimate claims to some legitimate history and don't want to rewrite history. Don't want to rewrite history. They actually want to protect their cultural history and whatnot. And so, like my whole strat, like I keep telling people, like our scrolls in Nehemiah tell us, you know what I'm saying, to build the wall with one hand and defend it with the other. You know what I'm saying? So just understand, like, I'm not attacking y'all. I'm defending the wall, bro.
Facts.
But that's all I got for now. What's up? What y'all saying? Besides,
sit your ass down. Sit your ass down.
That one was not me, by the way.
Yeah, it was. No, I was all more.
No, I just think this whole thing is crazy, and people need to make better arguments. That's all.
My only question is this: will they still be doing this 30 years from now on YouTube? Will they still be doing this, or will they get themselves somewhere and sit down and live out the rest of their
Bro, if they're getting super chats,
lives?
Believe they're still doing it.
Really? Okay.
Believe they're still doing it, bro.
That's crazy. How old will they be? Like, these folks are in their what? 50s?
40s and 50s?
Okay, 40. All right, never mind. So they'll be in their let's see.
They're trying to retire.
Season 70 still on YouTube.
What are you saying, sis?
If you're 70 to 80 years old, still on YouTube, I have a problem. Okay, somebody needs to come get their grandma. Somebody needs to come get their granddaddy off YouTube.
Yeah, when they're 70, 80, YouTube's gonna be like beyond MySpace. You know what I'm saying? Like, so ain't no one gonna be tripping on people being on YouTube at that point. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder if they'll be kicked off YouTube within that 30 years.
Bruh, they might be kicked. Man, they're already age restricting the videos now.
Really? It's getting age restricted? Dang.
Yeah, they're talking about the conspiracy to stop the awakening because they're age restricting the new video where they're talking about all kind of
They'll
ridiculous.
all be on BitChute in a couple months, man. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah. They on BitChute now. Don't get it twisted.
With all the Nazis, because that's where they ran to.
Or they're on Odyssey as Tail Ministry calls it. It calls Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Why are you like this?
They never took a linguistic class in their life, did they? I'm gonna stop.
They don't have to because the E-way is the original Hebrew, bro. Like they just got to go back home and tap into it, bro.
Not the Lashawan.
Into Yiddish? Tap into Yiddish?
They wish they spoke Yiddish.
Hey, if they tap into their ancestry, they're gonna have to, you know. Hey, but bro, so hold on. Wait, Rude. So when you literally get into what my man is saying, right, in terms of like what's on the pew, he has to be using Yiddish. He's literally referencing Polish Jews.
Yeah, you're talking about the abbreviated.
No, with the Israel with the Z or whatnot, right?
Yeah, I get what
he
you're
literally
saying.
he holds up a book. It's like, see, no, I got this book right here in the booth. It's like, oh, yeah, I know that book. I was like, what are you? Like, oh man, like I promise y'all to like, no, I'm not gonna say that because y'all keep shooting your face whenever you do it. So I won't tell you not to do that. Keep doing it. Never mind. But yeah, fam, this is serious. Like, there's. So not only is the Israel spelling like going back to Yiddish, right? But again, it's getting there via an Ashkenazi mulatto. But it's supposed to be so it's a Yiddish. It's Soletreo. It's using Soletreo to write Yiddish from an Ashkenazi mulatto. I hope I explained the conundrum correctly, because it just don't make no sense.
So that's their model?
Yeah.
Why does everything have to be convoluted?
Damn. Like that convoluted, bro. Like it's, it's funny too, bro. Like the first time I showed Joe the pews, it was live on air, right? And I showed Joe the one that says La ilaha illallah. Like the one that says La ilaha illallah literally has the tetragrammaton in the shorthand, or potentially has the tetragrammaton in the shorthand form, and potentially has the Ge'ez letters Ha and Sa, right? And like literally the first thing Joe says. So Joe is a Romanian Jew or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? He's Yap, he's Z1B1B, all them type of things and whatnot. He's like Turkish Romania, something like that, right? And right off rip with like I don't even finish like putting it on the screen and trying to like I take a breath and he's like, oh, that says la ilaha illallah. I don't know what the rest of that says though. I was like, wow. Like it blew me. I was like that quick. I was like, wow, okay. That's just like the Jew can tell you what it says in Arabic, but you can't tell the Jew what it says in Hebrew. I'm like, that's crazy.
I remember I was talking to him about something, and he brought up that there were Turkish Jews that were taken in the slave trade also. And if you look at my DNA, that may be true.
No, it's possible. It's very possible. No, it's very, very possible. That's what I'm saying. And that's why when you look at the language on the pews, it becomes super important, because like you can. So these cats don't deal with language. They're not serious with it. But when you actually deal with language, you can use language to do all kind of forensic work, right? You can break down like what part, you can analyze the scripts and whatnot to find out what parts of the world they're coming from via how they're writing certain things, right? Like, so a lot of people are assuming that the Arabic is West African and Ajami, whatnot. It might not all be. Like, so literally, like Abu was showing me like a rendition of Surah 14, Ayah 3 in Farsi. And our jaws hit the floor because it looked almost identical to the pews and whatnot. We're like, oh snap! Meaning, like, so Farsi is what they speak in Iran and whatnot, right? It's Persian language and whatnot, right? And so meaning it would have to link to the East African side of the slave trade, where people are like linking to like the slave trade going all the way up to Baghdad and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And making the way to over here in the slave trade, right? Which is totally possible, because again, we have over 500,000 people coming from the ports of East Africa. So, like, again, all this got to be looked at. Like, so he's very right, Rui. There could be like, and if there are, like, now that makes sense, right? Like, so let's say there's some Turkish Romaniyats, and they got Sola Trail. Okay, that makes sense, because I can go amongst the Turkish people, and I can find evidence of Sola Trail amongst them from when Sephardic people went that way, right? Cool, got you. But that's not what they're saying, Rui. They're saying, hey, them Turkish people can't be the folks. They can't be Jews. And second of all, they're saying they got it via an Ashkenazi mulatto. Like, that's the part that gets me, Ruth. They wrote Yiddish in Sola Trail. I'm like, huh?
I'm speechless. I don't know what to say to that.
But they couldn't have used Judeo-Arabic.
A lot of their perspective comes from racist people. I don't know if they know that or not, but a lot of this anti-Islamophobia and anti-Arabic culture and language, it comes from racists. It comes from racist Germans.
Mm-hmm. And on top of that, it ignores, it shows their ignorance in studying the history, right? Because the moment, if you're trying to be serious about proving that there's Israelites in West Africa and you do it ignoring Islam and Arabic, it's almost impossible. Hence, all you cats try to cite like the Timbuktu Chronicles somewhere. And you know what that's written in, family? Arabic. Completely Arabic, fam. Like, if y'all want to prove the tradition that there was the Injil and there was the Gospels and there was the Torah in West Africa, you can't do it without Arabic. It's not happening. That's why I'm laughing. That's why I'm laughing at you, trying to say, like, look, like who taught the Mandingo homie how to write the Gospel of John in Arabic? Like, I don't understand. Like, it would be like 100 years from now trying to prove what we're talking about from our time period, that we are who we say we are, whatnot, but don't use English to do it, huh? Like, we're not we're only doing videos and papers and whatnot or whatever in English. We're not doing nothing in no other languages right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't speak no other languages on this thing like that. So there's no way you could prove it without that. So if you take away Arabic, it's like, man, you're just okay. Have fun with that. Have fun never proving your thing, fam. Because no matter what you do, you're going to try to slide it in there somewhere. Because otherwise, it's not plausible.
I think the difference between them and us is that we follow the evidence, and they started with some type of presupposition and tried to force the evidence to fit that narrative. So they have to turn against good evidence, even though good evidence to prove their claim, but because it doesn't fit their ideology, they throw it away. It's very sad.
Yeah, like Abu said, it's cutting the foot to fit the shoe.
Sheesh.
You know what I'm saying? Because like, yo, like, Rue, this is what I don't get, bro. You're gonna pass up a shorthand version of the Tetragrammaton? You're gonna pass like so. If I'm like so, like real talk. If I'm looking for any word to be written in the Hebrew anywhere amongst our people, right? I'm at least looking for one word, right? I'm looking for the name of the Most High in the shorthand form, right? Or some version, right? I'm looking for that, or I'm looking for the name of Israel somewhere, right? But again, like, and they're saying they got Israel, cool, got you, but you got it in. You're trying to trace it back to a Polish form that you're talking, a Polish form where they're translating Latin scripts. I'm like, my G. So what? Now they're black Polish Jews. Is that what that was?
Well, remember what that guy told me today on Berean. When it comes to Polish people and Europeans and French, the white ones weren't always there. Europe was always black. So
that's the new argument, right? Is the black people originally
they
white
popped
people
out
came
the
over.
ground. So
Yeah.
white people popped out the ground and West Africans popped out. This is what I'm talking
No,
about. They
white people
use
come
the
from
same
Edom.
logic that racists use all the time. They
No.
just use it
They come
on
from Esau, bro. They're Edom.
No. We're gonna get this one all the way straight, because like I said, we're gonna crack into people's books. So they descend from Esau, Nephilim, and Neanderthals.
Right. That's right.
That's what Darby said. And that's what's in certain people's books. Shout out to Dante.
Why is the pseudo so strong with these ones?
Bruh.
The pseudo is strong with you.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's a superpower, bro. Like, they got the infinity gauntlet of pseudo. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo. But again, all that makes more sense than. So here's what they don't understand about Judeo-Arabic. That means that we were like that you're a Jewish person in an area that speaks Arabic and you preserved Hebrew.
Right. Like, come on. Same thing with Yiddish. Same thing with, like, they're cool with Ladino, right?
Yeah, they're 100% straight with it.
The Yiddish, that's Satan language.
Hey, they never used Arabic. The Moors never used Arabic roots. Understand that. Not once ever did the Moors use Arabic, fam. And hey, not only that, the Jews. So literally, my first name Taiwan or whatnot, right? You can like the Hebrew equivalent. You can find like Tibon or Taiwan. You can find it in Moorish Spain or whatnot, right? Amongst the family of Jews who like their sole trade is translating text from Arabic into other languages.
Oh man,
their sole trade, bro. I'm like, fam, they're a big time family that was doing it for the longest because that's what we were doing in Spain, fam. As we were doing that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
It's a shame that they don't like Arabic, because Judeo-Arabic specifically and Arabic as a whole is understood, and Aramaic are understood as holy languages within Jewish culture.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the most important commentaries in Jewish history were written in Judeo-Arabic.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where they refused to translate some of those works because they felt like the words in other languages weren't good enough. There were all these beautiful words in the Arabic. They didn't want to have to translate it.
100%. And some of the most beautiful poetry you're ever going to read is going to come from Judeo-Arabic stuff. Like it's, but it's. So this is if and this is what got me, right? Because I was trying to tell these people like this could potentially be Judeo-Bantu, right? Like, so if you got people in West Africa, right, amongst Bantu, and you're stuck on the Bantu people, it's like, okay, got you. Like that means that you should be looking for Judeo-Bantu, right? You should be looking for that somewhere, right? Like there's possibly some of that on the pews or whatnot that I point out, right? Like a string of coughs or whatnot, right? It could be Judeo-Arabic, could be Judeo-Bantu, right? Like that's groundbreaking stuff if that's true. Like, but y'all are trying to tell me. So this is what I'm saying, right? Like that's potentially groundbreaking. They took this Solatreo argument to the Solatreo scholars, who it would be groundbreaking for, because they do not have evidence of Solatreo in North America at that time period. They have it later, but they don't have anything from that time period, right? So not only did they take it to some Solatreo scholars, I took it to some, and I took it to some younger ones, and wasn't nobody trying to jump on it. And check, like one of them was Jewish. He did like there wasn't no one trying to jump on it. This is stuff they could hang their hats on and retire off of. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I could write books and do lectures on it. Like, yeah, like we found the oldest Solatreo in America on these pews in Georgia. Fam, no one, like they weren't running for it, bro. No one's like, yeah, that's the one right there. And the more I pressed it, the more they're like, no, this is definitely not what that is. Not even though it might not. No, it's definitely not what that is. So have fun not proving your thing, man. Have fun not having any traditions projected, whatnot. Like anyway. go ahead, Ru. Go ahead. You got how you coming up? You,
bro. I'm saddened by the fact that all this information has pretty much been sitting out there for like the last 20 years. This is why I feel I be digging what Pastor Dumansani says sometimes, because the dude said when he came to the conclusion that the Igbos were Israelites, there was a chance that he had an Israelite history. He had those impulses to be angry. But instead of getting angry, he had common sense, which asked basic questions like, who am I mad at? The library for not being open when I wanted it to? Like, what's the real issue here? You could have known all this whole time, but because you were ignorant, now you want to go and make everybody else to be the devil. And they're not even using the information that's available. It's laziness. It's bunch of pride, arrogance, and narcissism all wrapped into a ball called BHI.
Not even not taking the information available, not taking it when people are trying to walk them through it, bro. Like that's the part that kills me about this whole thing. I spent a year trying to walk through the info with these people behind closed doors, etc. Whatnot. It's like, and when you see them rejecting, it's like, like what's this about? You're not trying to prove the thing for, like, what are you in this for? What are you doing? Like, what's the point of this? You know what I'm saying? And then you understand what it is. Like it like she said, the old boy in the chat, like, yeah, about like, you don't have to follow me, but send me a super chat while you're here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's about the money, whatnot. It's about the whatever. Like it's about the clout. It's about the, and you know what? It's not just about that, right? Because like people got to understand, like the racist BHI like sincerely believe this stuff that they're saying. They sincerely believe it, right? Like so it like there is a sincerity in for them, right? And for them, like the monetary gain or the seeing growth in numbers or whatnot, it confirms things for them. Like it lets them know they're on the right track and they should be doing what they're doing, even though that was never what Israel was told would happen to them for being righteous or whatnot, right? Like we're told we're going to be a small group of people, etc. You know what I'm saying? Like it.
All I gotta say is, I know that when it came to the ancient Israelites, that ancient Israel always hated the prophets. They always hated the people that told the truth, and they always flocked to the people who told them lies. So,
Tell me good news about my bad habits, man.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
And here's the sad part, right? Like, so in a very short time period, right? Like all the stuff they've been pounding the table, wanting to prove, oh, see, they don't want to believe that we Israel. They don't want to believe that we could come from what? Yo, in less than a year, we got all these cats sitting down at the table, changing their tune.
Literally.
Like you literally got vocab sitting down on my channel talking like, you know what? Yeah, I can't deny that Semitic DNA came off the slave trade. Like, yo, like, come on. What?
Facts.
Yeah. You got people running from the DNA. Damon Richardson, like, yo, APB, where's your boy at?
Yeah, that I be thinking about that every once in a while. Like, where did that guy go?
Me too.
I'm about to get that milk carton ready. You know what I'm saying? Because like I'm getting worried for your boy. You know what I'm saying? He went scholastically MIA. You know what I'm saying?
For real. He just disappeared on us. I thought it was gonna be a real conversation.
But none of your DNA heavy hitters could like stop the whole conversation. And y'all thinking Dante actually did something. If you actually watch the document, like the video Dante did, he literally isolates himself from the rest of y'all. And if you read his book, he doubles down on the fact that y'all can't be Israel because y'all got different haplogroups now. Like, so it's hilarious. Y'all did, when Damon was talking and stuff, y'all didn't call him Benaiah. Y'all didn't call Teo out there. You know what I'm saying? And you know who came through? Yap came through. And what did they use? Autosomal DNA.
And we waited too. We purposely waited because some people in Yap wanted to go ahead and shoot fast, and others wanted to kind of wait and see what the BHI community and the modern community would do, how they would react. And it was pretty much crickets. Nobody in the BHI or the modern community could refute what Damon said, even though what he said wasn't groundbreaking or hard to debunk. So yeah, that's like it's crazy. We're just a different breed. So
yeah, 100%. Not mad at y'all, but like we're not all the same people, fam. So all skin folk ain't kinfolk. I'm not mad at y'all. I can care less if y'all are mad at me. But the line is drawn in the sand. It's getting bigger and bigger by the day. It's going to turn into the Grand Canyon soon. And the cold part is y'all are making it such. Like, all we have to do is just stand our ground. Y'all keep embracing the more and more extreme conspiracy theories and hypotheses left, right, and center. You know what I'm saying? So have at it, Oz.
Shoot, the FBI is going to crack down on all of them. We need a change your tune.
We try to tell y'all, but nah, you need that skin doctrine. You need that blackity black joint, fam. And that's not how it works. Like, you can't. I was in the chat arguing with a bunch of people, sock puppets and whatnot. Like, y'all can't prove not one time in the Bible that phenotype is mentioned with the genealogy ever. Not one time. The only time it tells you not to mix with people, it has to do with the fact of them leading you towards other gods and whatnot, and specific groups of people that are named or whatnot. But even then, you can go back into certain situations where certain people they tell you not to mix with, they come back and say, your people shall be my people and your God shall be my God. And it's all gravy. And they end up being in the lineage of the Messiah. So y'all make that one make sense. We're reading two different books, fam. Two completely different books.
This goes into what Shaul said when he said the scripture's like a mirror reflecting the heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when people look in the scriptures, they find what they want to see. They find what's in their heart.
Man.
A lot of these people got a lot of racism, hatred, and venom and animosity in their heart. So they project that on the Most High.
And the cold part, like, so here's my thing, fam. If you want to be an ethno-nationalist or whatever, cool, got you. You're picking the worst nation in the history of the world to do this with. You're picking a nation that starts off being mixed to begin with. It starts off as a mixed multitude.
Yes, it's kind of laughable that you would pick a nation of converts to try to be
a nation of converts, bruh. Who got conversion laws to the thing? Like, come on, fam. Oh man, it hurts. You know what I'm saying? And here's the sad thing, Rue. It's like, so I don't know how you feel about it, but to me, like, the real awakening in the scrolls is Israel having like a messianic wake up, right? And understanding the real concept of their messianic tradition, having like a come to Jesus moment, having like a unified concept based upon that, right? And like I keep saying, like, we see in America, right, in the West, right, in the Ma'arab, we see descendants of a Holocaust, descendants of a slave trade, and descendants of an Inquisition, right? And the vast majority of us are not putting down Jesus for nothing. Even if you go to the Messianic Jews, the vast majority of them are Ashkenazi. So we have in the Americas over a few 100 million people that have genetic connection to these Jewish people in North, West Africa, and Europe. and like in this area of the West, the vast majority of the people with that genetic connection and whatnot believe in Jesus. And right now, the people who are waking up to the fact that they're Israel, whether they're of African descent, of Latino descent, etc., they're coming from Christian backgrounds largely, and they're not putting Jesus down for nothing. And that's going to change the face of the Jewish world, like in ways you can't unchange. Like right now, the vast majority of world Jewry is not messianic in the way that we understand messianity, right?
They don't even understand most of it. Like Hakam Joe says a lot of the times, what we're dealing with today are the survivors of the Holocaust. So it's like the dregs. It's the it's those who could pass, and what we bring is the revitalization of what was before.
Yeah, and that's why I'm tripping on it. See, and that's why we got to get I need your help on the WhatsApp thing because in linking with Joe ASAP because we were just talking the other day and whatnot. We had be dying. Like I hadn't talked to Joe in the longest. I jumped on the show the longest, and literally as soon as I jump on, he goes in on Karaites for like an hour straight. I'm like, oh god. but I'm listening to the convo, and it's becoming imperative, like how much we need to go into the history, how much we need to go into the culture, how much like people don't know about like you're talking about the Judeo-Arabic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How things interplay, how things were looking in more Spain, how they looked in West Africa, North Africa, like in terms like even the tradition you're talking about, the Romani stuff, right? Like so going back to a messianic tradition that goes back to the rabbis or whatever the time of the Messiah or whatnot, fam, the ones that were like going for him or whatnot, that were on his side or whatnot. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. And like I'm saying, like we're potentially finding out like what you're talking about with Joe or not that West African, our people coming up the slave ships were the repository for this tradition. And we potentially could see this tradition being planted in America as a seed and blossoming amongst, again, the descendants of a slave trade, an Inquisition, and a Holocaust. To the tune of hundreds of millions. Like, I don't know how that, like, but somehow it's more important to recognize that, you know what I'm saying, Israel is black, can only be black, and can only be the American Negro at that. And the most important thing you need to know is nothing about the Torah, but that white people can't be Jews. Like, I don't. I gotta do better for praying for my enemies right now.
Me too.
No, that's facts though, yeah.
So we're running about 3.5 hours. What y'all want to do?
It's up to y'all. Whenever y'all are ready to shut it down, I can do it.
They play your outro joint.
Asleep.
Yeah, play your outro joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me pull it up here.
But shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to the work all y'all are doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the haters. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all are making these conversations learning tools for everyone else now. You know what I'm saying? Because most of y'all cats that like Brandon's talking about that are liars that are leaders in this thing. Y'all got a lot of sincere people following you that thought that you were giving them like good information in a sincere fashion. Real soon they're gonna understand, like, oh no, you're playing both sides to the middle or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And so shout out to you for sticking to your guns, because it is what it is. Once you start telling lies or whatnot, like you either gotta tell a million more lies or you tell the truth and just look like a liar. You know what I'm saying? But either way, the truth is gonna come out for him.
Hold on, give me a second here.
Oh, you're good. But yeah, bro, I cannot wait to start breaking down some of these traditions, man. Like, it's, you know, what's funny too. Like, this is stuff that comes before the Igbo get there. Like, this is what people don't know about the Geechees. The Igbo showed up later. Like they weren't part of the first wave.
That's the song, by the way, more.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, boy, let me put it to the side right quick. Hey, put that in the private chat right quick, would you? Because I'm just what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that part as part of the clip, so we don't have to keep doing this. We can just hit the play button.
All right, there it is, and we are signing out. Any last words y'all got before we close out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that's different about a Verbo vacation